Yo ninjas, welcome back to the show. NINJAKEES is showing, and what did you eat today? Welcome back to another episode of Drawing It Manga Works, Chillaxing and Beyond today on this Saturday evening. So I was going over there, and what did you eat today? Many things happened, cannot talk about all of it, but before we start, we first always have to go cheers, skål, prost, kampai. Yes, this coffee is now colder because I had to do some stuff before streaming.
Based.
But yeah, ninjas, welcome back on this Saturday evening. How's it going over there? We're going to continue the art fight challenge soon. Chillaxing with you ninjas, maybe also reacting to some stuff or something. I have no idea yet if there's anything for that part. But yeah, how's it going over there? How is your weekend? What did you do? Anything productive or just
Sometimes
chillaxing?
you just have to put pen
It's also
on
really
paper.
warm over here, at least inside. Outside it's a bit nice and more chiller. But yeah, it's a pretty nice sunny day. But inside a little bit sweaty. So yeah, before the stream also went into the pool to cool off a bit. And yeah, then also changed the intro image.
You can now
just
order
now.
the physical manga
So yeah,
party time at
let me know what you think about it. So I got a bit hungry and got here a spring roll
like
that my
that.
ninja father brought today. This one is the last one left. So let's quickly eat this spring roll. Here, you want one? Very good. Mukbang. And it's some sauce on it.
For
Some
sure.
spicy sauce. So yeah. A little snack in between. But we were drawing this. Still have to finish here.
Get your copy of Party Time the manga at ninjakes.com if you haven't already. Thanks Ninja. Laughing face. I like having a deadline, lol.
Fair enough.
NANI?!
Doing good, man. Doing good. How about you? Cheers. Yeah, man. Let me eat some more. Little salmon salad.
K.
So, how's it going over there? Anything new today? I heard from a mate this new game is leaked. The new Pokemon game, what's it called again?
What did you eat today?
The Berserking? No? The Beast
Sub or
Inside?
dub? Eyes.
The Beast Inside or something.
Keep moving. Keep creating. So yet.
Beast of Reincarnation? That's like the new Game Freak game, right? It was leaked or something.
Based. Take care, everyone.
Hey, wait, was it Beast Inside? Oh no, Beast of Reincarnation. Oh yeah. 2 days ago.
Pika Pika.
And then we're
Bob Asterisk.
stuck. Does it not? Anyone gonna play this game or what? Or maybe you guys are already playing it.
Very peaceful stream. Get your copy of Party Time the manga at ninjakes.com if you haven't already. Thanks, Ninja. I can see that.
Yeah, you can see that. I don't think I don't think I will play this game because I have too many games still laying around and have to do other things as well. So, you know.
Yes.
Seems like a lot of people have issues with the mailman.
Wait and see.
You know, sometimes they run away. They ring the doorbell and then. Man, suddenly got hungry, man. Even though we ate tasty pancakes for dinner. All right.
Wow.
Okay, let's finish this.
Keep moving. Keep creating. Eh?
What? Someone
What
already
did
made a
you eat
review?
today?
What the hell?
Sub vs dub. No excuses. Pick a side. Crossed swords.
Where's that shit?
Based. No, not really.
Well, since no one's here, or maybe you're, maybe just listen to a podcast, unless you don't want to.
Central
But
Time
yeah.
or six.
We're just, you know, chilling here
Hi again.
and drawing. What's up? What's up? Bruh. Bro.
NANI?
Keep it up, ninja. Sometimes you just have to put pen on paper.
That's for sure. Or digital paper. Okay, what do we fix here? Yeah, the lines are a bit annoying to fix. I'm not sure if I agree with the hair anymore. Looking now edits.
Join the Discord server here. https://discord.gg/sdnesq.
GG!
Share your drawings, manga, chat, etc. and see other people their drawings. I
NANI?
like that.
Where is it? Where is the shizzles? The shit.
Get your copy of Party Time the manga at ninjakes.com if you haven't already. Thanks, Ninja.
NINJAKEES.
For sure.
Yeah, on one of the last streams, it got like copyrighted for music. Just 2 songs. It's really annoying
Laughing face.
because then cannot make any coin from all that work. Unless you want to work for free. Well, not that we earn much though, but yeah. Starving artists. No, we should not starve anymore. Okay, so let's say the hair. This is for the art fight though.
I like having a deadline, lol.
Is there any updates on the art fight? I wonder. And I get some fake notification here again, or what is this? Oh yeah, someone followed me. Okay, that's good. Already seen that though. Clear all notifications. Subscriptions. What else is this? Yeah. Okay.
Still here.
Yeah, that's good. Where was the original?
6 p.m. UK time. The brand new modern was they call
in their life is harder than exposing
be a very sophisticated code.
Is this
can
actual
put
shit?
dangerous is harder consciously you won't even realize it.
Think about how uncomfortable it is to have done something that you have praised yourself for that was hard to do.
How are
To
you?
then have to face the realization that that was maybe a very sophisticated coping
Let me
strategy.
see what
Yes.
your reference
Like,
is.
it's not a surprise that people don't really want to face it. I had this conversation last night. You know, you ask people, what's your why? Why do you work so hard? Why do you build this business? Why did you start to do content? Why? And there's always a kind of PR answer. There's like a publicly
Oh, wait, I
acceptable
didn't
one.
even-
It's usually quite positive.
What did
Some
you eat today?
it's even if it's negatively origined, it's got a positive outcome. It's like the underdog story.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, it's like, I didn't feel love as a kid unless I performed. And I now fear that people are going to abandon me if I'm not working as hard as I can all the time.
Yeah.
Or I was terrified in my loneliness. And I
Based.
realized that if I'm useful, that's kind of the same as being loved.
Sub or dub?
Because people want me.
Eyes.
They don't need me. But
Yeah.
they want me. And that's a good enough proxy. So even in your whys, you can kind
Where
of get
is
to a
it?
level of awareness, which is like, I like to do this thing, and I felt this way in school, and
Man.
now this is what I'm doing with my life. You go, okay, what if we take it just a level or two deeper than that? The same thing about going to the gym. Why do you go to the gym? But almost everybody, I think, that when you look at someone who is an extreme in anything,
Pika.
an extreme in terms of wealth, an extreme in terms of beauty, an extreme in terms
So
of
yet.
competence, an extreme in terms of smart and intellect, I would guess that almost in every situation, the reason that those people have
Yeah, I'm trying to find the reference for the drawing.
developed that is because they feel the opposite. The person who's made themselves very beautiful feels ugly on the inside. The person that has made themselves very wealthy always feels like they're not enough. The person who's made themselves very competent often feels like they're powerless. The person who's created all of this skill and these connections
care,
often feels like
everyone.
they're alone.
Yeah.
Like,
Take
you
care, man.
are that shadow, and it just, some people turn it into something beautiful and alchemize it, and obviously they get praised by everybody externally, and they
Where
can
is it,
kind of
man?
kid themselves. And also, as you said, it's psychological suicide. Like, who
Yeah.
wants to? It's like, dude, I'm living in fucking bliss. You're telling me I already overcame this thing that fucking sucked, and now I've turned it into something that's great. And
Yeah.
you're asking me to like go deeper, reveal this fucking veil from myself to now make this thing that is
Bob
undeniably and
asterisk.
objectively good. My physique, my money, my intellect, my beauty,
Oh,
and the way
here.
that I bring my skills to the world.
Found it.
And you're asking
Better
me to go
save it
deeper and kind of
somewhere.
completely remove that comforting.
I think I already did it, but I
like,
forgot to put
disbelief.
it in the art
Yeah, I mean
folder.
it's a story as old as time with you projecting the opposite of what you are in the sense
It's like
Get your copy of Party Time the manga at ninjakes.com.
Like we're
if
drawing
you haven't
this.
already. Thanks.
so we have
Ninja.
to make this
Very peaceful stream.
into this. So or at least we're already doing that, but needs to be yeah, this hair is just a bit weird for some reason. Why is it so weird, man? Oh, it should just be longer. Yeah, it's just that line. Oh, it's just that. Oh yeah, okay. That line goes down. Oh yeah, of course. What a fool! Okay.
That, oh, if I lack
Hey,
this
if you
thing, I
don't want to
must let everyone.
hear some.
So long, but merch is nearly here this Friday.
Where is it?
Really, really want to face it. I had this conversation last night. You know, you ask people, what's your why?
Hey, we're gonna lag shit.
I can see that.
Take it just a level or two deeper than that. The same thing about going to the gym. Why do you go to the gym? But almost everybody, I think, that when you look at someone who is an extreme in anything,
Yeah, I'm listening to his podcast. But if you don't want to hear that, let me know in the comments. Else you agree. No, but I cannot talk all the time on focusing on the drawing because maybe you understand it. Like if you're doing something, you.
Yes. Trophy congratulations.
Yeah. All right.
You've received 100
Eesh.
messages today with Resgreen
an extreme in
chat.
terms of wealth, an extreme in terms of beauty, an extreme in terms of competence, an extreme in terms of smart and intellect. I would guess that almost in every
It's just
situation,
that line.
the reason that those people have
Where
developed that
did they
is
go?
because
Let's
they
make
feel the
first a
opposite.
copy
The
before
person
we
who's made
fuck
themselves
things
very
up.
beautiful feels ugly on the inside. The person
Probably
that
already
has
did
made
that,
themselves
but,
very wealthy always feels like they're not enough. The person who's
Wait
made
and
themselves
see.
very competent often feels like they're powerless. The person who's created all of this skill and these connections often feels like they're alone.
Yeah.
Now, come on.
Like you are that
Control
shadow,
Z, Control
and it
V.
just,
How
some
hard can
people
this
turn
be,
it into
man?
something beautiful and alchemize it, and obviously they get praised by everybody externally, and they can kind of kid themselves. And also, as you said, it's psychological
Duplicate
suicide. Like, who
them.
Yeah.
wants to? It's like, dude, I'm living in
Yes,
fucking
good.
bliss. You're telling me I already overcame
What
this
did you
thing
eat
that
today?
fucking sucked, and now I've turned into something that's great. And
Yeah.
you're asking me to like go deeper, reveal this fucking veil from myself to now make this thing that is undeniably and objectively good. My physique, my money, my intellect, my beauty, and the way
So
that I
it
bring my skills to the world.
should
And you're asking me to go deeper and kind of completely remove that
be- What's
comforting
with this brush?
like disbelief.
Yeah, I mean it's a story as old as time with
Keep
you
moving.
projecting
Keep
the opposite of
creating.
what you are, in the sense that, oh, if I lack this thing, I must let everyone know that I have that thing. And it's interesting because I don't know if it was on your podcast, but Naval Ravikant was talking about you should live life like a lion. You know, lions, when they're hunting, they are 110% effort, really viciously going after it. And then when they're not, they're resting. They're not really doing. They're kind of lazy, for lack of better terms. And the interesting thing about that is,
Based.
I think that's what a lot of viciously
Sub VS
ambitious
dub. No excuses.
entrepreneurs or
Pick a
whatever
side.
endeavor you have in
Cross
life,
swords.
that's what a lot of people are doing. It's like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have the one
Ulysse.
side that is it's like yin and yang, balance of the world. Like different cultures over time have sort of established this sort of reality of the world that we live in, where, you know, it's stark contrast. So there's certainly a psychological aspect of that. And it's just so the problem is
Pika pika.
with everyone is it's so hard to go deep into your subconscious and
No,
like
not
really
really.
grasp what you believe. Thing that I talk a lot about on my YouTube channel is the concept of self-belief. I think self-belief is perhaps the most important thing, especially for a young person when they're trying to pursue whatever goal they have in life, whatever
Oh,
career, even in finding romantic partners, in friendships, whatever it is. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else is going to believe in you. And the problem is you're trying to convince yourself when you're the one that is the most critical of yourself. So you are the most aware of all your flaws. And all of a sudden, it's like, now I need to almost brainwash myself into, I'm capable of doing X, Y, Z. I really like Alex Hormozy's advice on that, where it's like, self-belief is not going to just spawn out of nowhere, right? You have to do something which creates evidence, which then not tricks your brain, but convinces your brain that you're the type of person that's capable of doing that. Once you establish the identity, once you actually have the identity, that's all the momentum that you need. Like with me, with social media, it's really straightforward. You start it, you suck at it. I posted 1,162 videos before I got 1,000 followers. I sucked. The month after I got 1,000 followers, I got 100,000 followers. So it was just this huge, like, I was really a student of the game. Like, I was genuinely trying. And the problem was, it was like, didn't have that identity. I'm like, I just got to keep throwing stuff at the wall. That's my only, that's the only thing I can think of at the time. So I keep throwing stuff at the wall. All of a sudden, you know, it's law of averages, chance, something's going to hit. Okay, that hits. Okay, maybe it's somewhat possible. Then slowly but surely things start to hit. They hit at a higher percentage. All of a sudden, I'm like, wait, I'm the type of guy that could go and record a video in my parents' basement and it gets hundreds of thousands, millions of views. And that just changed my identity. And now I'm like, oh, I can totally do this now.
The interesting thing is people want to speed run the first 1,000 videos that get no plays. Same thing on the show. It took 400 episodes and 3 and a bit years for us to hit 100,000 subs.
Wow.
And then in the next 400 episodes, we did like 3 million subs.
Yeah, exponential growth.
Yeah, and everybody wants to just get to the point where the growth is already exponential. Something I've kind of come to realize is the opportunity, you don't want the opportunity before you're ready for it, and you're ready for it far later than you think you are. I got to go on Rogan's show the first time.
Wait, what did he say?
And
grew
it gets
so
hundreds of
fast?
thousands, millions of views, and that just changed my identity. And now I'm like, oh, I can totally do this now.
The interesting thing is people want to speed run the first 1,000 videos that get no plays. Same thing on the show. It took 400 episodes and 3 and a bit years for us to hit 100,000 subs.
Wow.
Keep moving.
And then in
Keep
the
creating.
next 400 episodes, we did like 3 million subs.
Yeah,
Damn.
exponential growth.
Yeah, and everybody wants to just get to the point
Damn,
where
bruh.
the growth is already exponential. Something I've kind of come to realize is the opportunity, you don't want the opportunity before you're ready for it, and you're ready for it far later than you think you are. I got to go on Rogan's show the first time the back end of 2022, and I think I'd done about 600 episodes at that point, and we were maybe at 1.5 million subs, something like that. And I was saying for a long time to myself, like, you deserve to be in the room with the big boys. I think that this show adds something to the world that's really beautiful. I think that you're having conversations that aren't being done elsewhere. You should be in that room, but I shouldn't have been. And if I'd been given the opportunity before I was given the opportunity, I wouldn't have been ready for it. And the desire for people to want to speedrun
What
it
is
and to not
this?
have what Jack Butcher calls latent leverage. Like, you've just accumulated, and that skill that you do, like staying ready, meaning that you don't need to get ready, that is what unlocks it when something finally hits. Because if it hit 30 videos in and your next video was at the quality of someone that had done 31 videos, like, that was your chance. And
Yeah.
You blew it because
Yeah.
you weren't ready.
That's a
So
good point.
speed running that, interesting point on the, I guess, like, fake it until you make it ish
Keep it up, Ninja.
approach. I had this idea for a while that I'm kind of the poster boy for imposter syndrome, and there is a fake it until you make it thing, but there is an alternative, which is make it until you believe it, and that is just developing the stack of proof so high that no matter how much you don't believe in yourself, it just crushed under the weight of evidence.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think those things go hand in hand. I don't think it's one or the other. I think you do. You're faking it till you make it. You're just trying to get up so many shots to then create the evidence. The whole goal is to transition nothing to something. And you're like, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. And you just show up every single day. Something has to hit. Eventually, it has to hit. You know, I was helping some people I was trying to encourage my friends and people that I met online that were smaller creators. Like, I'm not any giant creator by any means, but I was like, well, this is what I learned. It's that you're not going to know what you're doing. I still don't know what I'm doing, but you start to pick up the pieces. It's kind of like Socrates' philosophy. I know that I know nothing. You have to accept that there's so much that you don't know, but then you also need to accept that there's so much that you'll never know. That's just the human condition. So I'm going to try the best that I can anyways and see what happens. And then all of a sudden the wins start to pile up, and all of a sudden, like you said, you're just crushed by the weight of it. So in a way you are faking it till you make it, and in a way you are making it until you believe it.
Yes.
It's kind of like both in one.
You're right. I think the reason that I wanted to say it, I said it
It's not it, man.
the day that I did the biggest live show I've ever done, which was the
What the hell is
event
that?
in Apollo in London. That was 3,500 people, and I was shitting myself. And before I went on, this guy at the meet and greet that we do beforehand for VVIP ticket people said, "Do you ever think that you would be here?" Like, no. Like, I'm just the poster child for imposter syndrome. But the reason I wanted to... That felt quite exposing to me, as I was about to, like, supposedly go out on stage and be the guy that's got it all together. And the show went amazing, and standing O and all the rest of it, like, it was brilliant. But I feel like for some people, believing that you need to have self-belief stops you from actually just doing the thing. And it would be easier for you to go, I can just show up with no self-belief.
Yeah.
I can do it when I'm tired, when I don't know what I'm doing, when I'm sure that it's going to go wrong, when no one around me believes in me, when everybody's mocking me for trying it. Like, I can just show up and do it anyway. And eventually the wins come.
Yeah, I think at some point, the self-belief, when people are like, you need self-belief, I think it's true, but it's not, doesn't have to be true at the beginning. It's a journey. It's a character arc. Every TV show, movie that you watched, every book you've ever read always starts with the main character in somehow, some way, being a little bit shaky with their confidence, not knowing what's going on. And then over time, they just develop into that. I'm curious, what are your thoughts on destiny and fate? Like, do you think that you have sort of a path that you're meant to follow and that you're gonna get there? I'm always interested to hear people's opinions on it, because I've heard people that are religious, people that are not religious, people that have grown up in different cultures, and I can't really find a trend or like a pattern there where, oh, I'm religious, so I don't believe in fate, or I'm not religious, I do believe in fate. I'm always curious. So what do you think about that?
Fate's an interesting one, because the personality trait that I care about most is agency, sovereignty over my own experience, the ability to choose. I happen to life doesn't happen to me. But then there's times when you're happening to life, but it feels like you're kind of dancing to the wrong tune a little bit. You've branched off into some other universe that wasn't quite right, and things aren't flowing as easily, and your gut and your heart and your head don't feel as aligned in the same way. And there's 3 areas, I think, that don't remove agency but are interesting to think about. So victim mentality, life happens to me. Agency mentality, I happen to life. And resonance mentality, life happens through me. And that, like, being able to open yourself up to what happens, like, it comes with a degree of releasing as well. And I know you talk about having fun with the process, not gripping things too tightly, because I happen to life causes you to take things very, very seriously. And that's great. And especially in the beginning, you need to do 1,000 videos. You need to study all of the other creators and like be obsessive. But after a while, you actually, because of the accumulation of all of your experience, the tool that got you here isn't the one that gets you your blue belt or your purple belt, isn't the one that gets you to black belt. And after a while, you actually need to learn to let go. I'm sure you've seen the videos of Haaland walking around the pitch, like just like a lion, lazy. Like straight up lazy, like distracted, fucking riding rodeos and stuff before he goes on. But when he needs to turn it on, he turns it on. And I don't think you can turn it on that much if you're gripping too tightly. So when it comes to fate, there's certainly times where stuff happens in life and like, there is no way that I actually made this happen. Like the confluence of all of this stuff is way too serendipitous. And then there's other times where you go, I need to swim into the stream here. Like I'm brushing up against the grain of life, and it requires me to like steel myself, and the ability to move between those two, to kind of like dance when you need to, and like, I'm feeling my rhythm here a little bit here, and things are sort of moving nicely, and I can release a little bit more, and it's like, I need to batten down the hatches and go in full fucking demon mode. And that balance between the two, I think, is like, it's a skill. And all of this sounds incredibly fluffy and kind of unobjective. And yet, almost everybody has a sense of what it feels like to be in flow with life, to be in resonance with life. So call it what you want. I'm aware that on the internet, it's not as rational and as provable and as derivative from metrics as you would like it to be. And yet, everybody's felt experience knows that this thing can be true.
I mean, metaphysics are fascinating, but I really like the way you were talking about agency. I really like what you said about Erling Haaland, because I literally just made a video about about him. And do you know the Olympic skater Alyssa Liu?
No.
She's got like the different colored hair, like the pattern. She went insanely viral over the Olympics. But her whole thing, why everyone was so drawn to her and attracted to her, was she's just fun maxing, as they would say. Like, she literally...
Oh, I remember. Wasn't she the lady somebody asked her, did she win before? And did somebody ask her, like, how is it going to feel? Like, do you feel the pressure to win again?
And she was like, I'm
just lucky to be here.
She was like, I'm lucky to be here. I'm detached from the outcome, but attached to myself. Or so I think I'm paraphrasing that. But she did figure. I think she did figure skating for many years. Was obviously really high performer, and then she quit. And I think the narrative online is that she didn't like it anymore. And then she came back to it, and then like within a year or two, goes to the Olympics, wins gold. And in all of the videos, she's just really soaking. Like, I don't think you can fake her joy. Like, she's just enjoying it so much. So I just made a video that I'm going to post where Erling Haaland is very similar to Alyssa Liu, and like, he's having fun. He had an interview, and they were like, oh, what, like some question about France, and he was like, well, to be honest, I think France will win the whole thing. And then he's like, I'm just happy to be here or whatever. That's not really what you'll hear from a competitor. Normally competitors are supposed to be like, I believe in myself and I'm going all the way. But he's just authentic, and he's just like having fun. And it's interesting you talk about, yeah, gripping. I call it suffocating the experience to death. So when you want something so badly to happen, it's simply not going to happen, because what you're doing is, and once again, this is getting into that metaphysical, there's not really an objective, it's hard to prove it. But the best way I can describe it is that you're operating from a frequency of abundance. You are not forcing anything to come to you, it's flowing. That's why people talk about the flow state. It's like your brain's on autopilot. You're not really like, it's not that you're not intentional, you're just not like hyper focused on one specific thing all the time. Because as you said, you can't be 100% all the time, because you have a finite amount of resources, right? So time, energy, effort, mental capacity, whatever you want to call it. It's interesting because I used to be, when I started out, I was recording 12 to 14 videos a day, and I would get up, I would do my schoolwork, I would go to gym, and the rest of the day, my goal is, okay, research, read books, figure out what videos I want to make, and I would make videos until 4 a.m. And I did this I was so dedicated to it. But the thing that sucked was, the more time that would pass, the more I felt like, okay, now I'm growing a little bit, there's more stakes. Now I gotta somehow perform better. All of a sudden there's pressure involved. All of a sudden I really need to make this work right now. And my videos started to suck a little bit more. And I was like, wow, this sucks. And then one day it's 3 a.m., it's the middle of winter, and I hadn't recorded a single video. I was doom scrolling, and I would kind of use the excuse, oh, I'm just trying to find inspiration and research. Yeah. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to go outside because it's freezing and the snow's falling, and I'm just going to record videos because I know I can't stay out there forever, because I'm going to have to go with my bare hand. I record 8 videos, and I'm like, you know, I'm just going to do these in 1 to 2 takes tops. Every single one of those videos got hundreds of thousands. Most of them got millions of views, and I put almost no effort into it. And I was just sitting there like, wow, like this is just sort of undeniable. Like I was like, I just need to hit that quota of getting my 12 videos for the day. And then it just happened.
You do understand, though, that people who see that and think, wow, all I need to do is just speak stream of consciousness, that doesn't work unless you've got the reps beforehand.
Yeah.
The only way that
That's the danger.
You can only break the rules of the game once you've learned them, right? You can't leapfrog the, I need to learn. Do you know what Wu Wei is? Have you come across this? So it's a Confucian idea of trying not to try, effortless action, right?
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Whoop. According to my Whoop, I've tracked nearly 2,000 days of my life. And the thing that still gets me is that I could have predicted almost every bad day before it happens. That's because Whoop gives you a complete picture of your health every single day. Your sleep, your workouts, your recovery, your breathing, your heart rate, even your steps. And over time, you get to see what's working and what isn't. And the Whoop 5.0 is the best version yet. 7% smaller, you get more than 2 weeks of battery life from a single charge. It's got health span tracking to see how your daily habits affect your pace of aging. It's even got hormonal insights for the women that are listening. I'm a huge fan. This thing rules. Bottomless stuff. The kind of summary of, but nonetheless genuine form of spontaneity. Indeed, the process of training is not considered complete until the individual has passed completely beyond the need for thought are effort. And the kind of summary of this is the next stage of your development might not be more effort, but more ease, right? It might not need more grind, but more grace.
Yeah.
And it sounds great to hear that, dude, you can just like stream of consciousness, fucking Michael Smoke wellness your way to just like Yap Max this stuff. But it's like, if you haven't spent a long time removing your filler words and understanding what sort of ideas work well and understanding a good speaking cadence and realizing the sort of flow that you need to have, you're not breaking the rules of the game to level up mastery. You're just not playing the game at all.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting analogy with the ice skater lady that you talked about. Novak Djokovic nearly quit this. He did quit the sport, and same thing. Too much pressure. Didn't enjoy it. And then when asked how he got his passion back, just said, "I like hitting the ball. I just like hitting the ball." And that "I just like hitting the ball" thing only works when you've learned how to hit the fucking ball.
Yeah. Well, that's why I like to say putting your brain on autopilot, right? Because we'll continue the sports metaphor, right? Literally what happens if you've ever played sports when you're younger and you've gotten really nervous. I played baseball. I would go to the plate and I would just be really tense. And what happens is there's a lot of blood flow to your brain, and then it doesn't function as it would if you were just chilling on your couch or something. And then you sort of now have to be consciously aware of what you're doing. But the problem is all your training and everything like that, it was developing skills for your brain to run on autopilot. So that's why people mess up or the choke. That's like the art of the choke.
The yips.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's like you need to first develop that skill for it to almost become second nature to your brain to allow it to happen. And it is a very dangerous talking point when you tell people, especially when really successful people like entrepreneurs that make a bunch of money or athletes that have spent literally blood, sweat, and tears for 20 plus years of their life dedicated to something, when they're like, "Oh, I'm just Shea, he has this one, the MVP of the NBA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He's got this one, like, it's kind of corny because I think he was just trying to be nonchalant, but he's like, I feel like the game's just coming to me. I'm flowing. It's just all natural. But it's like you're saying, if you're a kid, that's not just going to happen for you. You have to develop the skills. And most people, they don't have that agency to then go and do that thing. A lot of people have asked me, what do you think is the one thing that has differentiated you when you started doing social media? And the truth is, I always told people it was agency, but specifically because a year ago from today, I was literally sleeping on the couch of some guy's apartment in Iowa. Like I was doing, and I would get up every day, and I was doing streaming. I started clipping, I started doing these random things, and it's like all of a sudden I start to build myself up, and I started to realize, okay, I really want this. Like this is not. I feel like when people say they want something, 95, maybe even more percentage of the time, it's a bluff. Like, sure, I want the hottest girl in the world. I want to be a millionaire, but wanting something is being willing to pay the price that it requires to get it. And I realized that I was willing to pay the price. And so it was go mode. Like I was constantly, I was doing it so much that my parents were literally begging me not to work. They're like, Jet, what are you doing just sitting in this basement? I got no sunlight, like ever. I was just so dedicated to what I was doing. And then people will see me now, and I see hate videos about me every day where it's like, why is this guy Jet? Why did he find a way to like hit the algorithm and do this? Like he's doing the same thing as everyone else. I was like, you literally never saw, you're not acknowledging the 1,162 videos it took me before I got 1,000 followers. You're not acknowledging the sheer amount of times where I posted something and I was wrong, or I got embarrassed, or what, like all that stuff, and then got up the next day and said, I don't give a shit. I'm just going to keep doing it again. And what I'm realizing now, especially I just graduated college, I'm realizing that it's talk or action. It's you do or you don't. You know what I mean? There's no like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. Because I don't know who said this, but the most dangerous people are ambitious, lazy people that will lead you to believe that, oh, I'm down to go and start this business idea with you, and I'm going to go knock doors to get leads or do whatever it is. I had an old friend of mine who was just like that. He was constantly, oh, I'm down to do this and that with you, Jet. And I'm always like, I'm gonna do it. And I'm like, all right, come to my house. Let's set up the plan. He would come to our house. He would set up the plan, and then slowly but surely, the conversation goes towards girls, random stuff that is not. And I sort of fell into that trap because you act like the people that you're around. And then I realized, wow, like the difference between the people that make it and the people that don't are you dedicated yourself for a ridiculous amount of time. And I'm not even including myself in that category. You know, like I have way bigger aspirations. I'm nowhere near where I want to be. But I really saw after I put in the work, I was like, okay, it takes this much to get to that point. And I'm only, you know, a centimeter down my path of where I want to be. And so then I look at someone like Alex or Mosey, like a Naval Ravcon. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys, they put in their due time for so many years, probably got clowned on. Probably everyone that was in their previous life was looking at them like, what is this guy doing? You know, maybe he's like 25 years old and he doesn't have any job or he doesn't have anything going for him. But really behind the scenes, he's relentlessly trying on this entrepreneurial endeavor. He's starting a business. No one really respects you, and so you have to be like, okay, do I have the agency to say screw their opinion, I'm gonna do this and give it a shot, or do you not? And honestly, that percentage is like, maybe it's probably more than 95% of people are on they think they want it but they don't really want it. And then, you know, 2 to 3%, 5% are like, I'm actually willing to do it. And that's what I realized when I started the whole social media thing. I was like, okay, this is going to have to be a daily thing that I want to do, right?
Before you win, everyone will ask you why you're working so hard. And once you win, everyone will tell you how lucky you are.
Yeah.
It's so fucking true, dude. And talking about the thing and doing the thing vie for the same resources. So you need to allocate yours appropriately. Like literally, if you talk about the thing, I'm sure you've come across this in neuroscience.
100%.
If you talk about the thing, it gives you pings of reward in the same way as if you've done it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so few people are operators. Like this is what I learned in nightlife, like club promo.
Mm-hmm.
So few people can actually do what you need to do in order to become successful. And that's not some unbelievable level of talent. It's just actually doing the fucking work on a consistent basis. It is so rare. And that's why people tend to be serial successes and people tend to be serial failures, because the transferable skill of here is a thing that needs to be done, here are the ways to do it, and I show up and do those things. Like when I think back to the start of Modern Wisdom, there was days in 2018 where we did 0 plays. Like we'd done multiple weeks of episodes and we had 0, like a full day with no plays. And then I ruptured my Achilles at the back end of 2020 and constructed a special recording setup where I could have my foot still elevated above my heart so that I could still, and then a mic that came in like this so that I could still record podcast episodes with my foot like behind the guest. It's like blowjob cam, like straight from my crotch.
Yo gang, welcome back to the show. NINJAKEES is showing, and what did you eat today? How's it going, game?
What was the level of
What games did you
dedication
play?
I had to this? I remember I spoke to this girl at a breathwork class back end of last year, and she hadn't seen
I'm here drawing Mika. It's for the art fight challenge. It's this girl and stuff at the finisher.
since I first moved
And
to
we're
Austin.
also listening to a podcast because I cannot speak 24/7, or at least figuring shit out.
4 years ago, and she said, "It's so great to see you. Are you still doing those ads?" What do you mean? He says, "Well,
Game.
we were talking a few years ago, and I remember we used to invite you on nights out to like come and meet new people in this city and country that you just moved to, and you'd send me these like photos of some audio software, and you were saying, and it was like 11 o'clock at night, and you were saying something about ads, and I was like, oh
Shit.
fuck, I forgot that I recorded a
I
fresh
am doing
ad read
really
on
good
audio
actually.
3
Finally
times per
figured
episode
why my voice
for
sounded
every
weird
episode.
on microphone, and it sounds much better now. WBU?
I'm doing really good. Actually, finally figured out why my voice sounds weird. Oh shit, you figured that. Very nice. What was the issue then? Why was your voice just a setting?
You spoke like this, yeah.
Yeah, doing good there. A bit hot and sweaty. Well, a bit not so much right now though. Got a fan next to me. Yes. Maybe you even hear it. Not sure. You got fans or Erico? Erico. What's this here?
Low gain and to me being too close, which creates something called proximity effect. Basically boosts frequencies and makes them harsh.
Oh, you were to. Oh yeah. Well, I'm glad you figured it out then. Yeah, man. So now you can sing some songs, right? Sing a song. What songs are you working on?
Wow.
For 6.
I also have condenser microphone which are really good at catching detail of voice. So this made
Oh,
this
shit.
problem much worse. Now it's all good though.
Oh.
First time I
yeah.
like my voice, lol.
It's not like what do they call it? The effects on the voice. What non-singers mostly do. Do they still do that? What's it called again? Some filter over the voice. There was a name for it, where the voice then sounds better, quote unquote, but it's like just the filter. I think it's really nice if the original person has a real voice that can be spoken and or sing the song or whatever with the actual voice, you know, like Chester from Linkin Park, his real voice, no fake filters to make it sound better.
What did you eat today? Compression, EQ, tape,
all these rappers and shit
reverb.
used that. So what was the word again? They also meme it like. I think all these rappers and such use it. Used to. I'm not sure if they still do that. Auto tune, is that the word? Auto tune or something? There was a word for it.
Keep moving.
This.
Keep creating.
So the people that can't actually rap or sing, they just put that on it and then. Yeah. But I think it's cool if people actually can sing themselves and. You know, you hear the real voice. Like maybe there are instances where it actually is made well.
Based.
I guess with Daft Punk or something, they have some sort of these alien. How do you say that? I'm not. I don't know all the details about like the names of what it's called. And I can also not play it, else we're gonna get copyrighted claimed
Pika
for it.
Pika.
I think it's auto tune or something.
Oh yeah,
Auto tune.
auto-tune probably lol, but you still need good voice under it. Auto-tune won't make it sound good if the voice sucks. It does, but if the performance is terrible, it won't mask it XD.
Yeah, but why auto tune it if your voice is good? So it's actually to, you know. Yeah, I don't know. Do you prefer someone with the auto tune or without? Like a real, more real, you know? Like maybe there are some times they actually did it good, but. I think even with like.
I mean, auto-tune does improve it, but heavy auto-tune sounds also terrible.
I think
Get your
even
copy
when
of
they
Party
removed
Time,
all
the
the
manga at
audio
ninjakes.com
from
if you haven't
Linkin
already.
Park, just
Thanks,
the
Ninja.
voice of
It's like
Chester.
spraying perfume on a shit you
It
know
just
XD.
still sounded good, even without any music and everything. So yeah, it's just a legit, you know. It's like spraying perfume on shit, you know. Fair, yeah, good point actually. Yeah, good point. Perfume on shit. That's a good one. Yeah. So if it's still shit, yeah. Maybe for a brief second it smells better, but
It's 100 episodes. Like before we had dynamic insertion where you can
oh yeah, that's
pre-record
good.
it and then slot it
yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I did like 2,000.
So you're not gonna wait. You're already working on some songs, right? Or what was it? Or voice acting.
Everyone uses things to improve the voice though. EQ allows you to bring up frequencies of your voice that are good and mask a bit those that are bad, but you still need great performance. It won't mask bad
Yeah, okay.
voice, it just improves good one, you know.
Alright. Yeah, if you say so, I don't know about it.
Keep moving. Keep creating.
Wait, so what song are you working on now? Or yeah, you don't have to.
Mikhail Jackson had voice engineers to do these things. He had great voice, no doubt, but they took really good voice to a voice that works really well in a song. What did you eat today?
There are probably some comparisons then, no? Like original voice versus.
Compression, for example, bring louder parts down and quieter parts up. So the voice is
Yeah,
more
okay.
leveled.
Yeah, but it's still the voice. Like, I mean, yeah, like you said, if it's a shit voice, yeah.
Michael Jackson, I made typo, lol. Based.
Yeah. Man, performance shit.
Pika Pika.
Ad reads. That was the finished ad read. But think about how many times I failed, like 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, multimineral, pre and probiotic, plus all the green super. Yep. It's like fucking seared into my brain. And that's because at 12 o'clock at night, even though I was getting invited to go out, I was like, if I want to afford to live in this country that I've said is my dream, I need to do the ads, and the ads aren't that expensive, which means that I need...
It won't make really harsh voice not harsh. But if the singing method is, let's say, more nasal, you can turn that harshness down and it sounds good. Oh wait, what did you ask? I forgot, lol.
Like if people go grunting like with the yeah, okay, maybe that's something else. Yeah, they scream maybe a bit more like the metal shit. Yeah, what you were working on, like you're making some songs, right? Or what was it? Your voice for a song or something.
Get your copy of Party Time the manga at ninjakes.com if you haven't already. Thanks, Ninja.
should this even be?
Oh, so far I am just experimenting. I want to do my own stuff though.
Oh, your own music, right? Wait, weren't you working with someone or on something? This is weird, man.
Yeah, but I was fixing the vocal until now and I still have to learn how to mix it well. But now I just do stuff alone.
Do you
And it's
also
fun, honestly.
do you also use Fruity Loops? Is that still a thing? Like back in the days, I did try to mess with it. Some mates made some awesome beats with it, but yeah. Not sure what the thing right now is. Do you also, by the way, know how to play instruments?
Fruity Loops? Is that like a DAW? What did you eat today?
That's like for making beats or music beats, something like that. You can like make at least back then. I'm not sure if it still exists.
I use Cakewalk cause it's free, but people use Logic as a DAW as industry standard.
Okay, I'm not sure what that is. That's probably the new.
Based.
Yeah, things have evolved over time. Most likely. You asleep?
Pika Pika.
I use Cakewalk.
No idea what Fruity Loops is though, but I would never guess it's a DAW LMAO.
DAW? Wait, let me see. Fruity Loops.
I
Is
would
that
just
still a
ask you
thing?
if you hungry XD.
Oh, it's FL Studio, yeah. This. I used to mess with this, but I was a total noob. Is there any other images? Fruity Loops. It's like you can like make the beats and stuff.
Off FL Studio.
Oh, you do know it.
Yeah, people use FL Studio still.
Oh, okay. Oh, you do know it. Fruity Loops. No, that's not it. This, yeah, that. Okay. Okay, you do know it. Okay, yeah. It's still a thing, so okay.
Get your copy of Party Time
Yeah, I
and
just was
Manga
wondering.
at ninjakes.com if you haven't
Yeah,
already.
the FL stands
Thanks,
for
Ninja.
Fruity Loops, but yeah. FL Studio, yeah.
How the hell you came up with Fruity Loops XDD?
Yeah, because FL stands for fruity and then loops. Like FL is fruity loops.
Oh really? No way.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's where the FL came from. Fruity Loops. I forgot it was called FL Studio for short. Or maybe I should have known.
Fruity Loops Studio. Someone was hungry creating that name.
Yeah, why? It even has the fruit. Maybe they were inspired by Apple or something. Fruit. Wait, is there? I thought I saw a straw. Wait, what is it? I thought there's some fruit here. Here, look at this. Some fruit for the logo or something? I'm not sure that's still a thing. I guess, yeah. Maybe they thought of Apple and then it was like, fruit. Loops though, where's the loops come from? Loops, it loops the music. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah. Maybe someone was actually hungry. Yeah. Wait, maybe I can just... Fruity Loops. Is there any wiki though? Oh, here. Okay, let's see.
You can now order the physical manga book of Party Time
What they
at
say.
play button https://www.ninjakes.com.
Yeah. Okay. FL Studio, previously known as Fruity Loops. Oh, huh?
If you ask me, their logo doesn't look most appetizing for a fruit.
Known both as Fruity Loops and Fruity Loops, is a digital audio workstation DAW. Wait, what is D?
What did you eat today?
By the Belgian company Image Line. What? This program is often used as a gamified alternative to less accessible industry standard DAWs. What is DAWs? Such as Logic or Ableton. But how do they come up with the name though?
Keep moving. Keep creating.
Darwin, only 90 at the time, agreed to sign with Image Line, shortly produced the first version of Fruity Loop Studio. Allowed them to enter the Da Vinci contest. What? Wait, I should just...
Based.
Why is it called Fruity Loops? FL Studio was originally named Fruity Loops in 1997 because it started as a playful loop-based MIDI step sequencer created by a Belgian developer DJ Damrin, and its pixel art icon was meant to look...
But I know what it is.
And its
I hope
pixel
that
art
makes sense,
was
LMAO.
meant to look like a
Pika.
strawberry. Oh. Because it started playful loop based. Okay, so loop based midis and then to playful. Yeah. Oh, and trademark issues they had. The developer Image Line shortened the name in 2003 to avoid a trademark lawsuit and legal threats from Kellogg's, the maker of Fruit Loops cereal. Yeah. Oh yeah. So they changed it later. The logo, the iconic logo, remained fruity, eventually evolving into a shape that looks like a mix between a strawberry and a mango.
Get your copy of Party Time the manga at ninjakes.com if you haven't already. Thanks, Ninja.
Yeah, so to make it playful. Why a fruit though? I don't know. It could be like anything else. But I guess for the playfulness of it, they chose fruit at some point. Yeah. All right, that's the lore. Fair enough. Yeah, sometimes it's just whatever, right?
Honestly, looking at that logo, I don't feel well on stomach thinking I would have to eat it LMAO.
Well, a mix of a strawberry and a mango. I mean, I like both the fruits. I wouldn't even taste like. Uh, yeah, maybe a bit like a dragon fruit, like that was like sort of a kiwi, but less sour. Do you know a dragon fruit? You must know this, right? Dragon fruit. It's almost like the devil fruit from One Piece. But that's tastes a bit like a kiwi, but less sour or something. There's, at least over here, also some sort of a mixer. There was some lore to this too, but it looks like one of those devil fruits from One Piece.
Nah, but it looks polished for fruit. Like plastic.
Oh, that's how you mean. Yeah, okay.
But that combo could
Yeah.
be great.
Fair enough. Yeah. Maybe they it's a fruit candy. Like yeah, like fruit candy. Like candies that looks like a fruit, you know? Yeah, I don't know, man. What candy looks like a fruit again?
Keep moving. Keep creating.
Or it's like with a one of those, where is it, with a glass like this, with a an extra sugar coating or whatever they put around it. And,
What did you eat today?
it's interesting though. They make candy like fruit, and then might make you think, oh yeah, this is healthy. It's fruit, but it's just candy in the shape of fruit. Oh yeah, I ate today a lot of fruit. Oh wait, that was the candy fruit. But I don't mean this one. I mean Haribo. Haribo. Oh yeah, we have like where's the? I like the. Where is it? This. No, not that. The berries, or what's it called in English? It's a bit soft. It's like is it called a cherry? Yeah, this one. I like these. Almost like two nuts.
Keep it
No,
up,
but these
Ninja.
are I kind of I like these. Yeah. I don't like compared to maybe some other. I also like the frogs though. The frogs. Yeah, these are also good, but it's too much calories, man. Anyways, yeah, Fruity Loops.
To do 3 of them, and I need to make sure they perform well, so I'm going to re-record them each time, so I keep the sponsors.
There's something weird with here. Wait, I have to. The light is coming from left above, so then let's say this
I
is
ate
the
1,000
light.
fruits today. The sugar made me severely diabetic.
Wait, what? Okay, let's say the glow comes from around here, then here it would kind of shine, I suppose. And here it's like this. Probably some here, bit of light. The outside a bit, and then a bit. Be probably something like that. For where the light falls. Well, and then the shadows.
Fun talk. I let you keep on the drawing now LMAO. I am gonna hop off.
Oh yeah, that's fine, man. Sleep well, sweet dreams, and yeah, man. It's probably early in the morning right over there. It's probably 8 in the morning over there or not. What is time? Yeah. Yeah, good luck, man, with your voice. And if you ever want to share something, you can just share it in the Discord. Maybe we can listen to it for the copyright shit. I don't know. You're gonna strike it. Hopefully not. But yeah, good luck with your voice. And yeah, man.
Not 12
Hearing
a.m.
hearing some music from you soon. Wait, 12 a.m. Oh, no, or 0022. Oh, still early for you, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, good, man. Game. Yeah, good luck. Oosh! I will let you go sleep, peace. Or watch some anime. Titties. No.
NANI?!
All right. Good luck, man. You got it. Yes. Oosh! If you want to share something later, when you're done at some point in time. Yeah. All fine and dandy.
Is happy, so I have a great relationship with the sponsors.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it at 12 o'clock at night because I don't have anyone else to do it. It's me,
Back to the
my
podcast.
editor, and a Mormon assistant in a Facebook Messenger group
Good
chat.
luck.
And that is like 600 episodes and fucking 2 million subs. I'm like,
Have
okay,
a good night
that's
to
just what it needs.
LOLEESH.
That's what needs
Oosh!
to happen
Yes.
in order to get
You
that.
Yep.
The
sleep
one
well,
thing that I
mate.
wish that I'd done, and I know that Alex feels
Sweet
the same,
dreams,
like,
and
I
don't
can
forget.
give a nod to this like member of
Sweet dreams, and don't forget the man under the bed. Merc, that is. Yes, see you later. Game. Oh, cannot type anymore.
Sweet dreams. And don't forget. The man under the bed, Merc that is, ha ha ha
royalty
ha.
over the far side. There we are. I know that Alex feels the same. I wish that I'd captured more content in the beginning. I wish that I'd captured more stuff in the first 1 year, 2 years. And I guess in some ways it's kind of cool because everything that you make is put out online.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
Right.
Like if you're an artist, like you should have your first pieces of art that were
Yeah.
shit. But more of the behind the
Yeah.
scenes of what it was like.
Yeah, don't throw away your shit art, man. Then you can actually see where you come from.
What the
Like I know some friends or other people, they just throw it
Based.
away. Throw away their shit art. And maybe it's actual shit, but it's still part of the mountain, man. But yeah. Then again, sharing it probably won't get you much likes, but
the shitty rigs recording setup and the
Yep.
like the sleeping on the couch because
Yep.
you know, Maisie Williams from Game of Thrones. I heard this interview with her, and I think she was Arya Stark at like
Pika
10
Pika.
years old or something in season 1 of Game of Thrones. Super young, so it was her basically all of her childhood is her being in this incredibly complicated production.
Yeah.
And somebody asked her, "What do you wish that you'd done?" And she said, "Well, I started journaling in season 4, but I can't remember what it was like in season 1, 2, and 3. And I really wish that I had. I really wish that I had that for myself. I wish I had those memories, and I also wish that I was able to sort of show other people what it was like in the beginning."
That's interesting because with me, I do have the documentation.
Join the Discord
I at least
server
have the
here.
documentation of what I posted. I didn't document when I would say the same thing 100 times
discord.gg/sdnesqr to
before I
share
would
your
be
drawings, manga, chat, etc. and see other people their drawings.
cool enough to post it. But yeah, specifically on my YouTube, I have videos that it's funny. While I was making it, I would tell myself I was like 10 years down the line, this is what I'm going to look back and I'm going to be showing people on like a yacht or something like, guys, this is where I started from, you know? Cuz like my YouTube videos, they're so like, it's so like, okay, this guy's on the bottom right now, just literally trying to work his way up, being consistent every single day. But yeah, it's interesting the cope that people have, specifically as it relates to success or, you know, sort of leveling up in life. Doesn't matter what you're pursuing, but I think that's one of the top things I've been getting flack for online is I truly believe if you live in America,
Get your
it does
copy
not
of
matter
Party Time the
how
manga at
far on the bottom you are.
ninjakes.com if
I
you haven't
believe
already.
that anyone
Thanks,
is
Ninja.
capable of.
Nay.
Of clawing their way up the ladder. I'm not saying you're going to go all the way to the top, but you can go from the absolute bottom to at least bare minimum middle if you really have the agency to do it. There's like a old, I don't know if it's like a news interview with Morgan Freeman, and do you know what I'm talking about? And he was like, the interviewer was, I think it was like a white person telling him something about black people
How oppressed they are.
like how oppressed they are, like how they can't get to his position, and he literally goes, bullshit. And they're like, what do you mean? He's like bullshit, look at me, like look at Denzel, look at Obama, look at all these people. And I started to realize, I was like, you really have to just be viciously consistent, and it's going to take a very long period of time. And granted, I was fortunate growing up. I grew up in a working class family. You know, I never had to worry about paying the bills. So I 100% recognize the privilege that I've had. But then I was out on my own, sleeping on a carpet, literally not even a couch, a carpet, a year ago today. And now I'm on this podcast. Did that happen out of thin air? Like, I'm a little bit confused there. But I do have sympathy for these people. But I think this is it's a pain point that people don't like to be called out on. If you in any way sort of, and for me, it's not even necessarily criticism so much as I believe in them. I wish they would believe in them as much as I believe in them.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
people are like, I'm not capable of doing this. There's an old study that was done where they took a bunch of women and they said, hey, we want to test or figure out whether or not that people with facial disfigurements get any type of oppression. Are you familiar with this study?
Yeah, the Dartmouth scar experiment.
Exactly, yeah. So they basically put makeup on them and they said, yeah, let us know if you felt in any way discriminated against in this interview you're going into. And they had like high-end makeup. They put it on their face, and these girls saw in the mirror. They're like, oh, yeah, I have it. And then right before they go in, they're like, hey, we just need to touch it up a little bit. They take it off. They don't know that. They go in, and, you know, at the end, they reported that they felt like they were discriminated against. And more than that, they could, you know, point out a specific thing that the interviewer said that they thought was referencing, you know, the scar on their face. And it really shows you the power of belief. Like, I'm not saying oppression doesn't exist, but what I am saying is a lot of it can be self-inflicted, for sure. Like, people genuinely are told by the media, and this is what's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. If everyone in the media is telling you that, oh, because you aren't a Nepo baby, that you can't make it, you're going to believe that, you're going to internalize that, and subconsciously that's going to dictate the way that you move about the world. And that's such a dangerous talking point. And I understand why it exists, because they're trying to be sympathetic, and I get that. But you once again, you got to have the agency, you got to have the discipline to be like, fuck that. I'm going to bet on myself, and I think that I can do it. And I wish these people would have a similar view about that. Granted, not all of them. I mean, how many examples are there of people that have gone from nothing to something? There's simply too many, at least in America, that you could sit here and say it's literally impossible. It's very difficult. I'm not denying that, but you can't say it's impossible.
This episode is brought to you by Gymshark. If you're going to spend an hour in the gym, you might as well look hot and feel comfortable while you're doing it. Gymshark, if you had disadvantages, I agree with you. You are right. It's harder to be successful if X happened to you. Replace X with gender, race, birth, deformity, different language, different country, abuse, etc. The main point of the longer conversation is that despite the disadvantage, you only have one choice. What are you going to do about it? Number one, take action anyway, become proof to other people like you, your people, also born into or abused into this tragedy that you were, that they too can overcome it. Number two, blame and complain. And to be clear, you can do whatever you want. I support your choice, but only one of those decisions will make you better, and I wish I could say this without getting attacked. But you know who wins by you not being successful? Whoever or whatever you blame. And fuck them, or fuck that. You can lead a rebellion of one, and blame the one thing that you can control, which is you. In your mind, redefine the word blame as give power to. And when you do that, there's only one person you're going to want to give more power to, and that's you. For everyone who's had shitty circumstances, I'm on your side, your long-term side, the side that wants you to win. So do it anyways, with all the disadvantages, and still tell them to shove it, and win. I want to be clear again. If you had tough shit happen to you, it sucks and it's not your fault. But now what? Where do we go? My 2 cents. Win anyway. and prove that you can win even when the chips are stacked against you or you're dealt a lousy hand. Because we can't get dealt a new hand. We've got to play the cards that we've got rather than hoping the dealer rules in our favor. So again, what are you going to do with your shit hand? The only thing possible, you play it the best you can. Hormozy, fucking slammer, dude.
That's almost
good.
that's almost like a modern day Marcus Aurelius quote. That sounds like.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's updated for 2026, but
Yeah.
I mean, that's. I understand that there is this line that needs to be walked, which is, if somebody's been through a lot of shit, not recognizing that feels callous
Yeah.
and uncaring and unempathetic. And yet, if you look at what the real world impact of that is, do those people really want to be coddled if they want to get out of this thing? Probably not. And when you realize that there is a self-fulfilling prophecy in telling people that because of your X disadvantage, you're not going to be able to do this thing, what is meant as empathy ends up being restriction. And I don't know. I again, like you, like, not salubrious, but perfectly fine upbringing. But no, like, given no objective advantages, the fact that there are people who have had it worse doesn't negate the fact that most people exist in the middle of the bell curve.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't grow up with extreme abuse, in extreme poverty, with the birth disfigurement. Like, most people, and this is what becomes really pernicious, you can look at these people at the bottom end of the tail. You're not sufficiently recognizing their level of disadvantage. And that gets, like, concept creeped out to include earlier parts of the tail as well, and then actually bits of the bell curve in the middle. Does that make sense? Well, like, people who haven't had those disadvantages pattern match themselves with the people who have.
Yes.
And
Yes.
they take on board that sympathy as a self-fulfilling prophecy of restriction. You're like, oh, that's me. And this is one of the reasons that for a long time everyone's been real worried about pedestalizing victimhood, because it turns the value system upside down. It says that being the most oppressed is actually the position that you want to try and be in, because success is something that is only achieved through oppression, and victimhood is more noble in some ways.
Yeah.
Which is, it's incentivizing people in this very pernicious, like, presenting as pro-social, but functioning as, like, a speed governor on a car.
Yep. If you're a parent and you have a kid and your kid does something that isn't good, do you say, oh, that's okay, like, you'll get it next time, or it's okay, like, you're a kid? Or do you tell your kid, hey, that's not how a good human operates, and we need to do better than that? And do you give them constructive criticism? Well, if you're a good parent, you give them constructive criticism. Now, at that time, is the kid gonna like it when you tell them they can't do it? Absolutely not. But why do parents do it? Because they love their kids, and they're gonna do the thing that's gonna make them uncomfortable, and maybe they're out in public and their kid's gonna throw a fit. But they have to do it because they love their kids, and the only way that you can help someone grow is by, unfortunately, pointing out a lot of their faults. It's not the only way, but it's essential. And so I look at, it's like, I call it, and this isn't my original phrase, suicidal empathy, where people are like, oh, I'm going to empathize with this person who has self-destructive habits, and I'm going to say that it's okay. Why? Because that's the culture, that's the narrative that we live in. Everything everyone does is okay. There's nothing that is not allowed, except for you telling me that there's something not allowed. And then all of a sudden, 10, 20 years goes down the line, this person doesn't have the life that they want. They still have these self-destructive habits that are causing, to some extent, their inability to succeed. And then they're like, oh, it's the system. It's let me place the blame on everyone else. Again, if you were a parent, you loved your kid, would you not criticize them out of a place of love? I think that you would. I think that you would. And you have to do that as a friend. You have to do that as a peer. You have to do that as a member of society. But the problem is, it's a story as old as time. Everyone's going to hate you. Everyone's going to hate you. No, everyone wants to live in their own little world that, everybody else is against them. And are you familiar with Nietzsche's idea of resentment, the slave and master morality?
No, tell me.
So Nietzsche basically believed, and I agree with him, that we'll apply it to modern day context. Poor and middle class people, not all of them, but some of them, they seem to be obsessed with the concept of morality and virtue. And it's not that morality or virtue are bad, but they weren't able to get external success. They weren't able to get money. They weren't able to get the good wife, whatever, the nice house. So they don't really have the life that they want. And so what they do is they move the goalpost from external success to internal virtue, which they conveniently get to define. So now I don't have to win in life. Instead, what I can do is I can just say, oh, but I'm a good person. Who defines what a good person is? You, because it's subjective to you.
Yep.
So it's almost like a free cop-out. Now, I'm not saying by any means that you shouldn't want to be a good person or that virtue and character aren't. I feel like my dad's going to listen to this and he's going to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, what are you saying? Like,
Shout out Jet's dad, dude.
yeah, shout out my dad. But you have to understand that people are constantly coping. It's subconscious. They're not even aware of it. And then for me, I just can't stand these people because they're so obsessed with morality and virtue. And they're like, oh, I hate all these people. When it's like, I don't think you're aware that what you're doing is just cope because you couldn't get the external success. I'm not saying external success is everything in life, right? There's nuance to this, of course. But Nietzsche recognized this. He realized that it's like, hey, these people, they're kind of just making up some bullshit to make themselves feel better. And that's what happens. And I mean, I'm a Christian myself, but a lot of Christians do this where they're like, oh, you know, people online say that Jesus is the personification of slave morality. You know, they have resentment built up against the people that are successful. Then they switch. They get to choose what's actually right. But the thing is that Jesus is not slave morality at all, because slave morality comes from a place of resentment, and Jesus didn't have resentment. So I really hate that narrative online. But it's like I will admit that you see this a lot in Christian communities or whatever, where they're kind of be like, you know, it's harder for, surely I tell you that it's harder to get into the kingdom of heaven than for a camel to walk through a needle, whatever that Bible verse is. And they're like, you shouldn't get money. Like, that's anti-Christian. And it's like, well, you could do amazing things with money. You can help people with money.
Cope.
It's not inherently
cope.
Yeah, it's cope. It's cope.
It's cope.
So the problem is, you go online, you say that, it's funny because I've posted a few videos on this over my time on social media, and every time I get stitched 100 times. Everyone's like, you know, fuck this guy, Jet.
Out of touch.
Yeah, and it's funny because they'll be like, you know, you'll get a comment, he actually thought we were going to agree with him. No, I didn't think you were going to agree with me. I was just willing to say what needed to be said. But these people are, it's just everywhere you go, you see cope. I used to be that guy. That's how I know, right? And I'm not saying everyone does this. I'm not saying everyone that is concerned about being a good person is doing it out of resentment for people that have external success. I'm not saying that at all. But a very large percentage of them surely are.
It's such a cheap shot as
It
well.
is.
Like, it's so predictable. Before you look at the comment section, you can already see, like, this is out of touch. He doesn't understand. He thinks that the only thing that matters is materialism. And yeah, there's this idea from Isaiah Berlin called the inner citadel. Familiar with that? Very similar to what you're talking about. So he says, when the path to human fulfillment is blocked, we retreat into ourselves, into a kind of inner citadel where we're walled off against all of the fearful ills of the world, and we make our own laws. So an example of this would be your leg gets injured in a battle, and you have the choice to either try and rehabilitate the leg, but if you can't rehabilitate the leg, then you cut your leg off and denounce that the desire for legs is misguided and must be subdued.
Yeah.
Like this, we see it everywhere. People that say weight has no bearing on health because they've struggled to lose weight. People who say that jobs are for suckers because they've struggled to hold one down and they turn to a life of crime. People who have been cheated on and found it difficult to get a relationship to work, so they turn to polyamory, or they become incels. Like, at each of these different, I guess it would be vol cells. At each of these different junctures, what somebody is doing is saying, the world's denied me that which I want. I'm going to rewrite the rules, retreat into myself, so that I no longer need to face the reality that I could get it if I did something different. And again, like, there's two very, very unpopular things to talk about online. There's many, but like two that are kind of reliable philosophically. One of them is that, and the other is the arrival fallacy. If you say the view from the top of the mountain that you're climbing up is not going to be as satisfying as you think it is, you sound like a fat guy at a buffet telling someone who's starving that food doesn't taste that good.
Yeah.
Like, you suck the engine out of them and the oxygen gets pulled out of the room, It's seen as like bourgeois. It's seen as judgmental, as opulent, and rightly so. You, a person who has the thing that I want, are telling me, a person who doesn't have that thing and wants it, that the thing I want won't satisfy me. But how many people that have got a problem with their self-worth or a scarcity mindset reach some level of success or fame or monetary notoriety and then go, oh man, all my inner problems were solved. It was so great.
Yeah.
Like, so one of two things is happening with that, which is the first one, it is true that when you achieve something that you try to fill an internal void with an external success, it's not going to reliably work.
Yeah.
The other one is that everybody that reaches a level of success is part of some weird cult cabal that's all cartelling to convince other people to like pull the ladder up after them so that they, it's like, and
no one else can win.
Exactly. It's like, oh, it's not that good. Fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's obviously not the case.
Yeah.
It's obviously the case that people can't fill internal voids with external accolades.
Yeah. And this is, like you're saying, it's any time that you'll see an interview with a really successful person, this seems to be a common trend. Well, they'll say, you know, the favorite days of my life were when I was going through the struggle, when I was, you know, building every single day, was unsure whether or not I was going to make it because that made me who I am. Or, you know, they'll say like, wow, like it really was the journey the whole time. I've said this before. I think winning a championship as a professional athlete has to be literally one of the most underwhelming feelings ever, because you just worked whatever percentage of your life. This was your main goal, or so at least they say. And all of a sudden you have it, but now you have this thing and it's, okay, my life is the same. It's like, are you familiar with Lacan's theory of desire? So in order to desire something, the object of obsession must be perpetually absent. You can't have that thing because the moment you have it, you can no longer want it. This can apply to anything in life. Relationships is the biggest one. This is why people are always talking about, why is it that like right when I express to this girl that I'm interested or tell this guy that I like him, it seems like they pull away. Well, because now they know they have you and it's not really, they don't have that fantasy in their head. Well, the same concept sort of applies when you have this big goal and you want it and you're convincing yourself like that's going to be the thing, and it never is. And this is, I've never really seen an interview where I felt like the successful person was being genuine, where they didn't in some way, shape, or form acknowledge that if they were asked. But it all goes back down to Albert Camus has this quote, it's the end of the myth of Sisyphus. I'm paraphrasing here, but he says, the struggle towards heights is enough to fill any man's heart. And he's basically saying, like, it's literally the journey. It is Sisyphus relentlessly pushing that boulder up. He knows he's never going to get it to the top, but it's the process of pushing that boulder up. That's everything. When you think about life, if your life is a timeline, right? Well, let's say you start going towards your goals when you're 18 years old, or maybe 22 when you graduate college. So you have like 22, if you're lucky, you live till 75, 80, but probably you're going to tap out at like 60. So 99.9% of like actual time, the metric of time, is going to be chasing the thing. And then you're going to get it. So why in the world would it make sense to just be like, oh, I can only enjoy myself once I'm there? Because you won the cosmic lottery to be alive, right? It's like 1 in 43 trillion or something. Like you're winning the lottery multiple times to just be alive. And so why would you then be like, oh, I'm only going to do what I have to do to enjoy a 0.0000001% of my life, to be like, I did it. And then probably after that, you might be underwhelmed or depressed or something like that. I think you need to enjoy that 99.9%. And that is enough to fill a man's heart.
From the meditation retreat, one of the biggest takeaways I had was, for many of us, goals are contracts to self-criticize until we succeed. Like running away from a monster that never gets tired. This contract makes permanent success necessary to avoid being swallowed by misery. Like, desire is a contract that you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Almost all of your time is going to be in the pursuit. And what that means is you are going to be underwhelmed. Before we continue, most people in their 30s are still training hard. Their protein is dialed in. They sleep better than they did in their 20s. Discipline is not the issue, but recovery feels somewhat different. Strength gains take a little longer. The margin for error starts to shrink. And that is why I'm such a huge fan of timeline. You see, mitochondria are the energy producers inside of your muscle cells. As they weaken with age, your ability to generate power and recover effectively changes, even if your habits stay strong. Mitopure from Timeline contains the only clinically validated form of urethylene A used in human trials. It promotes mitophagy, which is your body's natural process for clearing out damaged mitochondria and renewing healthy ones. In studies, this supported mitochondrial function and muscle strength in older adults. It's not about pushing harder, it's about actually supporting the cellular machinery underneath your training. If you care about staying strong into your 30s, 40s, and 50s and beyond, this is foundational. Best of all, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee plus free shipping in the US, and they ship internationally. And right now, you can get up to 20% off by going to the link in the description below or heading to timeline.com/modernwisdom and using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's timeline.com/modernwisdom and Modern Wisdom at checkout. Have you ever seen Scotty Scheffler, the golfer, talk about what happens when he won the championship?
Yes.
That's one of the few pattern breaks in somebody winning.
I know exactly what you're talking. I made a video on it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Fucking awesome. So yeah, I mean, he wins the Masters or a Grand Slam, perhaps some huge, illustrious title, and he gets to do the press juncture at the end. And he's sitting down, and everyone's going, dude, like, how's this going to be? Like, how does this feel? And yeah, he has a slightly surprising response.
At the end of the day, it's like, I'm not out here to inspire the next generation of golfers. I'm not here to inspire somebody else to be the best player in the world, because what's the point? You know, this is not a fulfilling life. It's fulfilling from the sense of accomplishment, but it's not fulfilling from a sense of like the deepest, you know, places of your heart. You know, there's a lot of people that make it to what they thought was going to fulfill them in life, and then you get there and all of a sudden you get to number one in the world, and then they're like, what's the point? And you know, I really do believe that, because you know, what is the point?
Perhaps if you could be satisfied simply by hitting the goal, you would kill yourself.
That's the most Jet Franzen response to that video that I could ever. But you're not far off, right? Like, the reason that the arrival fallacy exists and the reason that we have hedonic adaptation is that if the first time you had sex, you were done with sex for the rest of your life, or the first time that you killed a deer, you would be satisfied with that. You wouldn't be chasing the next piece of progress. Like, there's this dukkha, D-U-K-K-H-A. It's this line from the Buddha, and a lot of people hear life is unhappiness, like, is one of the translations of this, but dukkha can actually be translated as unsatisfactoriness. So it's not, life is suffering. Like, life is suffering is the line from the Buddha, but it can also, dukkha could also be translated as life is unsatisfactoriness. Like, Morgan Housel has this story about when him and his family went away on holiday, and he'd been planning this trip for ages, and it was the first one that him and his wife had got to do with the kids, and they knew exactly where they were going to sit at this resort. They'd looked at the menu in advance, they knew what drinks they wanted to get, they'd done everything. And they arrived, and they sat down the first night, and he thought about what the experience was like, and he's like, well, the drink was nice, but there was like a little bit too much ice in it, and I probably should have got it blended as opposed to on the rocks. And like, it was really beautiful. The table that we chose was great, but like, there was some sand between my feet, and that sort of was irritating a bit. And I look, the veal was lovely, but the salmon also could have been a little bit better. And then he walks out onto the balcony, and he has this thought, like, as they've arrived, the first day that they're there, he's like, this is so great. We should come back here next year. Like, immediately in the process of enjoying the thing, he's already moving the goalposts to the next thing. The experience is unsatisfactory, and the enjoyment of the thing is primarily based around recreating the anticipation of it again during the experience of it. It's kind of deranged.
You know, a couple months ago, I went out to eat dinner, and I ordered a steak, and they gave me a chicken, and I was happy that they gave me the chicken, because I was like, wow, I was like expecting the steak, and I just got a chicken, which is like a curveball. And I started to realize that this is like the ability. My sophomore year AP US history teacher always had this quote: "Roll with the punches."
Chickens.
You probably heard that before. Roll with the punches, guys. Roll with the punches. But that's one of the best skills to develop, or personality traits. I don't know if it's genetic, but your ability to just go with the flow makes things so much better. I come from a very anxious family. My family's very anxious. They like to plan everything in advance and love them to death. But like sometimes it's like, wow, like I feel like we're suffocating the experience. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you just kind of let it happen, then you're going to like it more. My brother is not a very anxious person. And I always find that like being just in the presence of my brother when you're like going and doing things relaxes you, and it's just like better. It's like if I could have anybody on a road trip with me, it'd be my brother, because let me just go with the flow. It's not too serious. He's very practical about the way that he approaches things. And yeah, I think life, I don't know, the expectations and wanting something to be a certain way, it kills it. And suffering lives, so you have the expectations of how the world should be, and which is personal to you, and the reality of the world. The delta between those 2 points, that's where suffering lives. Because you're like, well, it was supposed to be like this and it wasn't like that. And so in other words, if you can just eliminate the expectations, which in all fairness, you probably can eliminate expectations, but you can at least lower your expectations, you'll be pleasantly surprised a lot of the time.
It's only suffering for as long as reality under-delivers on your expectations.
Exactly.
If reality over-delivers on your expectations, that's pleasure.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But so yeah, I mean, low expectations are kind of the key to a good life, but also it's a revolutionary thing to say in the modern world, I'm good with that, or I'm satisfied.
Yep.
That's good enough for me. Like satisfaction is kind of seen as surrender. And that's, again, creating this like inverted motivation.
It's not biological to us, I'll tell you that much. Are you familiar with the hedonic treadmill?
Yeah.
So it's like, I was always, when I found out about the hedonic treadmill, like so much of life just made sense to me right there, because I was like, everything has to regress to the mean. It has to. So think about our ancestors, right? A lot of our ancestors lived in tribes and they would hunt for game to get the food that they would need to survive. Let's say you fought a bear. You and some of the other men of the village went out, fought a bear. That's a huge achievement. That's like awesome. You're high on life at that point, right? You just killed a bear and now your village has meat or whatever, and you're feeling really good. It's like, so what? You're just going to put your guard down now? Like that's it? And so then you would not care, and then all of a sudden, there's infinite amount of predators out in the world, and then they would just...
Next bear comes along and fucks you up.
Exactly. And so you literally have to regress back to the mean. Like, so many people, I'm sure people ask you this. It's like, oh, what's it like having so many followers? And it's like, dude, I don't know why, but when I had less than 1,000 followers and I gained 2-3 followers in a day, that almost felt better than right now where I'm, getting thousands of followers a day. And it's like, that's just how it goes. It has to regress to the mean. It's, the easiest metaphor, whatever you want to call it, is like developing tolerance for drugs. Like eventually you're it's not going to be enough. You just need to keep pushing it more and more.
Well, the ruthless thing I think about people that are competent and that drive themselves is that every new level of success becomes the minimum level of acceptable performance moving forward. This is the curse of competence.
Yeah.
Right? If you're good at things and you regularly do well, then success doesn't become a cause for celebration. It's simply the minimum baseline entry that you're allowed to pursue. Like anything less than success would be failure. And success itself becomes nothing more than acceptable. Yeah. Like that. There's a line from a John Bellion and Luke Combs song, which is, if the higher I climb is the further I fall, then why love anything at all? And he's talking about falling in love with somebody and opening himself up. But I think the same thing's true for a lot of people in pursuits. And it sounds very morbid. Like, I'm aware that this sounds morbid, but it's good because you do existentialism and I'm British. So it's kind of the same thing. But a lot of the time, I realized this last year. This podcast is the 8th biggest podcast in the world. 8th biggest in the world. Spotify chart last year. Fucking unbelievable, right? Spotify Wrapped. I wake up one day. We found out one day before. And I'm like, holy fuck. That is
insane.
Just so fucking insane to be this guy who's not been a part of a network, who's never taken money from outside investment, who started it in his bedroom and still does it with the same editor he had 8 years ago. To get to that point is so fucking phenomenal. And that lasted for about half an hour. And then this thought crept in, which was, dude, if I'm not in the top 10 next year, I might as well kill myself.
Yeah.
Like 8th would be just about okay. 7th would be good, but presumably only for about half an hour before I realized that was the new baseline. And if I'm not in the top 10, then it's a failure.
Yeah, and
And-
that's the same way other people will perceive you as well.
Of course, yeah. Jimmy Carr's got this fucking wonderful line where he says, trajectory is more important than position. So if you are number 300th in the world, but last year you were number 600th, people are like, wow, dude, you're on the, things are moving right. But if you're third in the world last year being first, that is almost toxic. And I think a big part of it is that we have such recency bias. We can only really remember what's going on. We also want to be someone that's moving in the right direction, has to be popular in the moment. And there's always this sense, there's a kind of like nepotism, I suppose, or like inheriting daddy's money. There's this sense that if it hasn't happened recently, maybe the underlying signals that are supposed to be the reliable indicator that you're good at doing the thing, maybe they've fallen away. I've been fascinated, obviously, because of this number 8 in the world thing last year, and that creates a new kind of pressure, a different kind of pressure. But I've been fascinated about the difference between having never made it and having fallen off, the perception of those two things. And the gold medalist syndrome is exactly that. Gold medalist syndrome is having fallen off. And I'm sure you've seen the studies that say bronze medalists are happier than silver medalists.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking hilarious. Like, just about nearly being there and not getting it
Yeah.
is worse than being a few steps away.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, first off, congrats on number 8 in the world, bro. That's like ridiculously impressive, especially
Thank you.
like you were saying, you started it on your own. You didn't take money from outside investors, which is huge. Are you familiar with Arthur Schopenhauer's The Will to Live, The Will of Life? So the will is basically, it's almost like this metaphysical part inside of you that it creates your desires. He argued that you're not the one that creates your desires. It's just created by the will, and then you sort of recognize those desires or you realize that they exist, and then this sort of subtly dictates the decisions that you make in your life. And the will is not concerned about you being happy at all. As a matter of fact, he does argue that happiness is a temporary state. You cannot always be happy. And happiness, even when you do get it, it's very short-lived happiness. And it's really because the will just wants more and more and more. And the desire of the will, it just wants to replicate itself. So that's like drawing you to have sex and reproduce. And basically the will is just telling you, oh, you got to do all these things, and just relentlessly pushes the goalposts more and more. And that's why Arthur Schopenhauer is widely regarded as, a pessimist. People say if you're going to get into philosophy, don't start by reading him. Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting talking point to me. It seems like the internet hates pessimism, which I understand why. You don't want to be around negativity.
It's a boner killer.
Yeah, but you got to acknowledge that to some extent there's a lot of truth behind some of the talking points in relation to pessimism. And that's what I tried to, I tackled that idea on my YouTube channel. But yeah, even people will be like, oh, Jeff Franzen, he's a doomer. He hates all this stuff, even though at the end of my videos I'll try to, be like, okay, but
have an uplifting on.
Exactly.
Have you looked at instrumental goods versus ultimate goods?
Maybe.
That stinks of a video that you should do. I'm putting a request into the DJ for you to do. So instrumental goods doing something for something.
Yes.
Ultimate goods doing something for itself.
Yeah.
And if you ask the why do you do that thing for any pursuit, eventually you get to an ultimate good, right? And typically it's something like to feel peaceful, to feel happy, to be loved, to be enough, to be able to rest. But instrumental goods are, why'd you get up and go to the gym? Well, to have a good body. Why'd you want a good body? It makes me feel fit. Well, why'd you want to feel fit? And you just keep on going down to something close to an ultimate good. And my concern for a lot of people, including myself, is that we live instrumental lives. Our entire lives are instrumental.
Yep.
We are doing the thing to do the thing to get the thing to do the thing to get, as opposed to a radically revolutionary belief, which is maybe I can just sidestep all of this and go straight to the ultimate. Like, what is the feeling that I'm trying to get? And typically it's a feeling. And this is another idea that I've been so fucking obsessed with, and it came out of the meditation retreat last week, that if, as a guy, you pray at the altar of fuck your feelings, just work harder, how can you be surprised when you achieve what you don't feel?
Yeah.
like the route that has gotten you there, the fuel that has arrived you at the destination has robbed you of the satisfaction of being there.
Yeah.
And that to me is just, it's this game that's always going to be played. And what we've done, I'm going to sound incredibly left-wing here, in modern society with the meritocracy and capitalism, is we've encoded, we have like canonized and created an architecture of pushing the hedonic adaptation button as much as possible. It's an instrumental life. It is an instrumental life. Why do you want the next rung on the job ladder? Why is it that you want that? Well, a bigger paycheck, and I'm going to get more respect from people. It's like, well, what are you sacrificing? Oh, I'm going to be home less with my kids, and my relationship might suffer, and I'll sleep worse, and my health might degrade. But, like, you know, the thing, like, what about the thing? And yeah, it is radically revolutionary to just go, fuck it. Like, I'm good. I'm good. I like this. I like where I'm at.
The scariest place to be, and this is my biggest fear. I'm absolutely horrified of it, is waiting all day for 5 p.m., all week for Friday. You wait each summer for the winter, and so on and so forth. It's like, you've probably heard those people say, oh, you know, once I graduate high school, then I'll be away from my parents, and I can do what I want. Oh, well, now I'm in I just got to finish college. I finished college up, and then, you know what, I'm going to go travel the world. But you know what, then they graduate college. I got to work on my career right now. And there's always something. There's always something. And then you never live your life. And there is a talking point online where people will say happiness is just not wanting any moment to be anything other than what it is.
Not wanting things to be different.
Yeah, you're not stuck in the past. You're not anxious about the future. You're fully accepting the moment. If you go outside and there's construction and it's like really loud, this goes back to what we were talking about before. It's like you had the expectation that there was a world that existed, that there wouldn't be construction. And the fact that there is construction, the delta between those 2 points, that's where you're suffering and you're getting pissed off.
You know what's an interesting indicator, early indicator of this? How much somebody complains. Somebody who complains a lot is basically admitting that they have a poor model of reality.
Yes.
Why is there all of this traffic? It's because reality has traffic.
Yeah.
And your model of the world was a reality that didn't have traffic. Your model of the world is wrong. Reality is undefeated.
Yes.
It's a million knockouts.
Yes.
Right? Reality is undefeated. Most people don't realize how much being dehydrated impacts their performance, which is why for the last 5 years I've started pretty much every morning with Element. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything that you need and nothing that you don't. This orange modern wisdom. There's this little essay that I want to read to you. Don't wait. Life is happening right now. I've become obsessed with the belief that life's duties will one day be out of the way, and then you can finally start doing the thing you want to and living your life. It's a myth. It's a lie. Marie-Louise von Franz talks about the provisional life. She says, there is a strange feeling that one is not yet in real life. For the time being, one is doing this or that. There is always the fantasy that sometime in the future, the real thing will come about. Similar to another idea called deferred happiness syndrome. The common feeling that your life has not begun. That your present reality is a mere prelude to some idyllic future. This idyll is a mirage that'll fade as you approach, revealing that the prelude you rushed through was in fact the one to your death. It's strange. I regularly have this sense of foreboding and guilt about time slipping away, that I'm not making enough of my days. Especially when I look back on a week and I know that I've done things and dedicated myself to pursuits and working hard, but I can't fully recall how I spent my time. So I worry that this is just a 1 week microcosm of how I look back on my entire life. As time having passed, but me not really noticing it. Of existence occurring, but living, not actually having got going.
Wow. You know, when I was in later years of high school, I was trying to save up money for college. So I picked up all these jobs. One of the jobs I picked up was, you know, that stereotypical factory job. And I was in Chicago. It's middle of winter, freezing. I'm working the graveyard shift, so middle of the night. And I worked this job, and I remember I would sit there and I'd be like pissed off because all my peers, all the people that I knew, none of them were working a fraction as hard as me. And I knew their parents were going to pay for their college or whatever it is. They were living life up.
That's the temptation of the victim mindset.
Yeah, exactly. And so, well, I was the victim mindset because it would be 1 a.m. and I'm in this trailer lifting heavy boxes. It's like 30 degrees in this trip because they literally don't have heaters. And I'm like, life just sucks, man. Like, I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, why does this got to happen? Whatever. And there was most of the time you'd be alone, but every once in a while you'd work with another person. And I became friends with this other guy, and me and him, it was like the double the victim mindset. But he was kind of playful with it, which I liked. He was like, you know, life is so fucked, and then we'd joke about how fucked it was or whatever. And you know, I remember like sitting there, and I built up resentment because I was like, man, these other people, they're not working as hard as me. I'm just trying so much more than them. And yeah, and that went on for years. And that wasn't the only job I had. I was working 3 jobs over the summer. I was just constantly doing stuff. And then we get to college, and these people, I had better grades than them, and they would go to a nicer school because they could afford it. And I'm like, oh, man, I really keep drawing the short end of the stick. Joe Rogan, he has this one clip. I don't think it's like viral or anything, but he's like, those people that always say, I can't catch a break. He's like, you need to get away from those people. I can tell you as someone who used to be that person, you need to get away from those people. Because like you're saying, if you complain, that this is, all of a sudden, you're just making your life worse. And then I ended up, like, it was super cliche, but ended up reading Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. And I was like, wow, like this is incredible.
It's the ancient Clean Your Room by Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, okay. And then like, you know, and I sort of was that way for a while. I mean, it was years. It wasn't like I just flipped a switch and boom, now I'm not victim mindset anymore. It was, well, let me take a hard look on my life. I have no friends. I have nothing going for me. I'm just going to school, minding my business, and that's it. Okay, we need to make some sort of change. And to amplify this, what makes everything so much worse is that for millennia, the only people you compared yourself to were the other people in your tribe.
XD.
Right? You couldn't
Yo,
know what was
Bucko,
going
thank
on
you.
with
Welcome back.
Kelsey
Dit
when
was
she
Islang
was
and
studying,
what
like,
did
we didn't
iedereen
know,
thanks.
we didn't have
You didn't know what was
Instagram.
going on in the fucking valley over.
Exactly.
It's a 30-person pod in a
How's it
150-person
going?
Dunbar group. That's
Exactly. And so what's happened is social media.
Yeah, also listening to a podcast since cannot speak non-stop. Trying to focus a bit, but yeah, man. Thanks. Eesh, good luck. Or how's it going?
Just rapidly hit us. Our brains have not psychologically adapted to comprehend this. So a guy like you get millions, potentially billions of views every month. It's like all of a sudden all these people have opinions on you, but more than that, what do? You doom scroll. Everyone doom scrolls to some extent, or you're going online. And what does online feed you? The top 1% of everyone. You're seeing the most attractive people, the funniest people, the richest people, the most well-spoken, articulate people, and on and on.
Yeah.
And then you're like, wow, my life sucks.
Oh, you
like,
know.
I remember, like, I was sitting down there, and it would be like,
Very nice.
Andrew Tate starts getting popular. Like I see the Nelk Boys. Like everyone just seems to be living this amazing life, and it would really piss me off because you see these degenerates, and why do they get that? That's not fair. Like they're not doing anything that's worthy of, you know, making all this money or having all this attention and being in the public eye. And I wanted that, and I wanted it bad. And it literally wasn't until I actually let all of that go that I was like, you know what? I don't have resentment. I can accept that I am who I am. All of a sudden, all those things started to fall into my lap. And it's like, that's really how it works. I feel like you have to let go, kind of like what we were saying before, because otherwise, in a way, you're paralyzing yourself. You're not going to take action. You're just going to feel bad about yourself and have pity. And that's, if you carry that on through your 20s, through your 30s, all of a sudden, you're going to be 35 years old and look back and be like, wow, I wish I would have had the ability to just accept who I am. But you can't really blame. I mean, we're the first generation that's had this. So
Can I give you a bit of advice for what I think is going to come next for you?
please.
So you've got yourself to the stage now where the wheels will start to spin on their own, and there will be a lot of opportunities that will come your way, different things. Maybe I'm going to start a business. You've already got an app. Right, well, I need to run the app. Like, that's important. I need to have a dev team. Like, well, we need to do marketing. Like, maybe we need to take some outside investment, and you'll start to take investor calls, and you'll maybe look at acquisition, and you'll start to pay a little bit of more attention to, well, there's a competing app that's just started, and, well, you know, I need to make a little bit more money because my lifestyle should inflate because I'm growing up. And, like, I worked at this. Like, I worked hard. Do you not remember when I was doing 1,000 videos and nobody watched? Like, I should start to do some sponsors. And you'd take sponsor calls. Those will begin to rack up a little bit more, but they'll be worth money. And you'll do the just connect with me dinners, and you'll start to make more impressive friends. And one of the things that you need to be incredibly cautious of is not doing the thing that got you here. Now, you shouldn't hold on to the working modes that don't serve the principal output. So that's, you don't need to play the game the way that you used to, but there are a few key areas of contribution that if you let those slide, all of the competitive advantage goes. And that for you is likely going to be reading. It's like, if you don't protect your reading time, if you're not constantly feeding yourself with new ideas, you're going to become stale and you're not going to have new stuff to talk about. And what it's going to feel like is growth. It's going to feel like growth because all of the objective metrics are going to continue to expand and continue to get better. But what made you differentiated was this very particular kind of obsession with learning interesting ideas, scrutinizing them, and then communicating them, right? That's kind of it. Like, that's the engine. That's the engine that both me and you have used.
Yeah.
And maybe you'll get some staff. You need to manage the staff. Like, that's kind of, well, you know, you've got an editor. Ah, fuck, the edit wasn't quite right on that thing, so I need to negotiate with him. And, like, he needs his motivation geeing up, so I'll take him out for dinner. And, well, the editor needs an assistant, so, like, I might as well get him. And before you know it, you've built this very unwieldy spaghetti monster. And that's fine, as long as you protect what the main thing was. And the reason that I say it is I've noticed as I've sort of swung to and fro on the show, when I've protected the first couple of hours of the day, which is typically when I'll sit, and when I'll read, and when I'll think about stuff, and I might do a little bit of writing, if I just get a few hours, maybe even just 1 hour of that, like, I'm nourished for the day. I'm continuing to have new ideas. I'm continuing to come up with stuff. Everything feels fresh on the pod, and I've got, oh, that's got fucking Scheffler video. Like, isn't that good? That's something to pull out.
Yeah.
That will be a temptation of growth. Now, it's a strange kind of paradox that the more leverage you have, the more distractions you have. And that sounds great because it allows you to not need to focus on things, but it can tempt you to not focus on the main thing. And the only thing that matters is keeping that little flame, that sort of kernel that was the beginning of the inspiration. Like, that's what's important. And if you do that, dude, you're going to continue to fucking rip. But that's the thing that you need to protect. You have to protect your reading time. You have to protect your new idea time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think that's makes a lot of, like, you just saying that, I'm like, yeah, I think you're right. And the reading in the researching was what I think has allowed me from the get-go. I mean, I was reading and researching well before I started making videos. And even when I started making videos, I was making more feel-good comedy videos. I wasn't doing philosophy or societal commentary or talking about the implications that X, Y, or Z event has on your life. I was just genuinely a kid that was interested in these things, more so classic books, not even necessarily philosophy. And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. Let's see if people like it.
It
and
might
then
be almost done, I don't know.
So, yeah, that's definitely my roots. So I think you're right. I definitely do need to save time. And it's hard because I've been, started to make little higher value friends, started to do a little bit of traveling. Not a lot, but
the drawing is based on this one.
I'm like, hey, it's easy for me to know.
For the art fight, I'm drawing this my way. But I tried to make it legit though. Like the legends. How does he do it again? Does it yeah, their poses are maybe probably better, but yeah. Doesn't need a background, maybe. Yeah. Like what? The background, what is the background even? It's just some sort of spacey art. But I don't think I'm going for that background though. Or just simple shit. Is it done or is it done? Yeah, else I keep like, how long do we have left for the art fight? Let me see. For the art fight we have left, where is it? What, 18 hours? What? Oh yeah, shit. It was the last month, it's already a new month. I totally forgot. What? Holy shit, I did that. I forgot, man. Yeah, it was for the July month, but until 2 August we can, oh that's today, oh shit. Okay, I just realized almost out of time, what? Okay, this will be my last one. Holy shit, 18 hours left. Okay, then I have to upload it like, I guess, today. What the hell is this? What? Where's my shit? Attacks? Can I not attack anymore? What is this? Oh, I did 3 attacks. Oh man. Am I? No, I'm not too late. No, wait, what does it say? 18 hours. Yeah, I have to finish it ASAP. Okay, yeah, we're almost done then, I suppose. Oh yeah, I want to do something with the eyes. Holy shit,
Longer read,
totally
or
forgot.
I'm tired
man.
on the flight, so I'm gonna put my head down when that's like a prime opportunity where I can't really do anything else. So
And that's what you would have done in the past as well.
Yeah, exactly.
And the limited amount of motivation that you have, which everybody does have, that becomes degraded by having to do things that aren't the main thing.
Yeah.
Last year I did 100,000 miles, so it's like 3 times around the world. This year so far we're just about halfway through the year and I've done like 70,000 miles.
Welcome back
on
to the
flights.
show, showing and what did you eat today?
Was not what I was doing when I first started the show, which means that I need to be even more aggressive at protecting some areas of my time at a time when there's more compelling seductions that are going to pull you away. So Alex talks about, you know, the scene in The Matrix
Pancakes.
where Neo is first brought into it and he's walking down the street and there's a woman in the red dress.
Yeah.
And
Very
Morpheus
nice.
says, Neo, were you paying attention to me or were you paying attention to the woman in the red dress? And he says, look again. He turns around. It's Agent Smith with the gun.
Yeah.
Says, okay, being able to say no, your capacity
Sweet.
to say no is not
Sweet
looking at the woman
dreams.
in the
Yasumi.
red dress.
And don't
Sweet
forget
dreams, and don't
the
forget
man under
get
the
more
bed.
successful.
Merc
that is.
under
It's
the
not-
bed.
Hypothetical
Yes.
10. It's 1,000 hypothetical 1,000s.
Yeah.
Your capacity to say no needs to scale more quickly than your ability to be successful. And if you don't get out ahead of it, you're going to be seduced by all of these new pulls on your time. That's fine, and that's cool, all right? It affords you the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl and hang in this special box because someone loves your videos or whatever it is. But if you do that too much, you will lose the thing that kept you sharp. And I think that that's why a kind of monastic lifestyle that you see a lot of sports stars have, like even Haaland, for all of his fun, when it comes to preseason training, I bet that guy's a fucking monk.
Yeah.
Like there will not be a stone that's not turned over and locked underneath. And if he was having all of this fun but not looking after his sleep, not looking after his diet, he's loose when he's able to be loose, but he's not distracted. There's a difference between those two things. And yeah, it's another curse of competence. As you get more effective and there are more opportunities in front of you, you need to learn to be able to say no to something that you would have begged to have had the opportunity to say yes to only 2 years ago. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a trip.
And I've gotten a little bit of a taste of it already. You know, it's like everybody wants to, I don't know, like leech is not the right word, because a lot of these people that I've become friends with are much bigger, much more successful than me.
Associate.
But yeah, it's like the moment that people see that you have some sort of momentum, that's a very attractive trait. You know, everyone wants to be your friend now. You know, I wouldn't even say antisocial, because I try to be social, but I never necessarily fit in my later years of high school through college, and that has been my biggest advantage ever. I would not be sitting here right now if I did not spend all that time alone, just really trying to confront myself, trying to be honest with myself, and figuring out what I wanted to do, and then having the balls to go and start doing it. And that's been my biggest advantage. But now, all of a sudden, this guy that I looked up to when I was a kid slid into my DMs, and he's like, yo, let's go hang out, let's go do this trip.
Yeah, heroes become rivals, and then your rivals become friends.
Exactly. And so it's like, wow, okay. But yeah, for me, like I said, I gotten so used to being alone that I'm very comfortable with it. But yeah, you're right. It's going to be tempting. If someone's like, Jet, do you want to go to the Super Bowl? Yeah, I want to go to the Super Bowl. Like,
yeah. And that happens to a state at a frequency that can end up sapping a lot of what it was that you used to do. But yeah, it is one of the reasons for solace that anybody that's alone should rely on, which is you have an opportunity now to focus on developing yourself in a way that you can't if too many people want you. And one of the weird things, talking as a horrendously unpopular kid and an only child, and someone that basically started to learn how to become a human at 18 when I moved to university, I wonder whether it's given you the realization it did for me, which is kind of the fickleness of sociality.
yeah.
That, well, I'm the same person
Yep.
as I was before. The difference is the trappings and the trimmings that are on the outside. And sure, I'm sure you've developed yourself into a more socially fluid person. You've got interesting things to say, and you've become more self-conscious and self-aware. And
Yeah.
that brings a kind of authentic sincerity and earnestness to a conversation, and that's kind of compelling, right? Like, that's beguiling. Like, ooh, like there's something going on here. That's cool.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't have had before if you were posturing and you were having to play a role. Like, people kind of have a bit of aversion. So some of it will be the development, and some of it will be the understanding and the information. But a good bit of it is, dude, Jet's fucking, like, he's ripping at the most. Should we invite him? He should come to the thing with, and you go, well, you didn't fucking want me before.
Yeah.
You didn't want me before.
Yeah.
Kanye West's got this thing. It's like there's a Metro Boomin edit, which I've never been able to re-find again. But it's Kanye West talking about how people say that they loved the work that I did in the beginning, but they didn't love it back then, though.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, every time, like, I'm cracking you a smile in 2023, but I'm giving you a frown for 2013. And it's just, you know, Ye's vacillated somewhat over the last few years. But
Yeah, I mean, growing up North Chicago, always been the biggest Kanye West fan. Always. Like, that dude, his concept of self-belief, I would literally go to, I'm not even making this up. It sounds cringy. I would go to sleep with a compilation of Kanye West basically being a narcissist. I just loved it. I just loved the way this guy would talk about himself. I'm curious what your thoughts are on that, because, man, everybody hates. So narcissism, the way that I look at this is that I think everybody's a narcissist, but it's a spectrum, and there's a healthy side of it and there's an unhealthy side of it. And what society calls narcissism, or that person's a narcissist, they're specifically referring to the more extreme end of that spectrum, where it's dangerous, where you negatively impact other people's lives. But innately, humans are selfish creatures. We always have our own best interests at hand, with the exception of maybe, you know, you're a parent, so you're looking out for your kids or a loved one. But I've made videos on this, very unpopular, as you could assume. And I just think if you lean into your narcissism in a healthy way, which sounds crazy, but that is the ultimate propeller to where you want to go. So imagine you're climbing a mountain, and, you know, very metaphorically, the mountain is where you want to go in life. You're wearing a backpack. You could either have an empty backpack, which is just having a neutral sense of self. You could have rocks that are put in the backpack, which is self-doubt or any way that you think that maybe a little bit of imposter syndrome. Oh, I'm not that guy. Or you could have self-belief. You could lean into your narcissism in a healthy manner, and that backpack turns into a jetpack, and then it propels you up that mountain. And so I've recognized that, like, growing up, people have always been like, Chet, you're a little bit of a narcissist. Not that I would ever negatively impact other people, but it was more like, you're very self-absorbed. And I said, well, I have to bet on myself. That's the only workable solution, I think. It's the only workable solution. You have to lean into every aspect of yourself, build up that belief system. Not that you should walk around saying, wow, I'm more valuable of a human than that person. That's not what I'm talking about at all. But you need to just relentlessly try to increase your self-belief, because everything regresses to the mean in life, and the mean is your identity, right? And your self-belief creates that identity. And so I think that you have to figure out, okay, what is the healthy narcissism, and how do I accomplish that? Because these people that try to be, it's kind of what we were saying before, the really humble ones, a lot of them are coping. A lot of them are coping for the fact that they didn't go where they wanted to be. This is a very unpopular opinion within my family. They don't like when I talk about this, because I come from a humble family, and I'm not really like them. But you have to bet on yourself. You have to think that you're capable of doing this. I told my best friend when I was going to do the social media thing, I said, I don't know what it is about this. I failed at all the other things that I've tried in my life, but there's something about this. I believe I can do it. I just know if I don't quit, I can do it. It's funny, once I started gaining 2 to 3 followers a day, I was 100% certain that I was going to hit 100K, because I told myself I literally would not quit until I hit 100K. And there's enough days that I'm going to live to hit that.
Well, the interesting thing about survivorship bias is that survivorship bias assumes that you die before you win.
Yeah.
And if you just don't stop, eventually you've rolled the dice enough times to have something that hits.
Yes.
On the ego humility thing, it's interesting. Ego's quite antisocial and humility's quite pro-social in a way, in the way that it's interpreted, that ego causes people around you a lot of the time to have their own shortcomings and self-criticism thrown into harsh contrast. It also is quite confronting, because people think, wow, he's going to go do that thing. That leaves me behind. I don't want him to do that thing. If I can claw him back, or if I can, behind his back, sort of vent about, fucking, who does Jet think he is?
Yeah.
Not talking about himself like that, dude. That's not even going to work. Like, that's fucking lame, or whatever, in the hopes that that might just slow it down. Whereas humility, even performative humility, is seen as, oh, he's got his feet on the ground. It's nice that he's not got too big for his boots. This is very much a British concern, that someone who thinks too highly of themselves is really not liked. Like, it's very, very a rigid class structure. In the UK, you know, it's this ossified country that's not been fucking invaded for 1,000 years. Like, that's a long time for these power structures to start to drop in. Like, you can tell, I don't know whether the same thing is true in America, I don't think it is. I can tell just by hearing somebody speak what class they were from, like underclass, working class, middle class, upper class, and have a good indication of what sort of school they went to, because it's had time to, like, segment out. It's like stratified, like fucking sedimentary rock or something. And it's determined a lot of the time by the way that somebody speaks and the way that they dress and stuff like that. But yeah, humility is pro-social, because it binds the group together by not making anybody be confronted by a differential in the power structure. And ego is confronting for the exact opposite reason.
What's interesting is I do believe strongly in the idea that you need to be rootable for. You want to be a person that other people want to see win. A perfect example of this. Over the past year or so, Timothy Chalamet went from this guy that everyone was like, I love this dude, and there's something about him. He's just got that swag. He's in the way that he walks. And then all of a sudden he goes on one of those award shows after he wins, and he says, I'm really on the pursuit of greatness, which to me, I loved. I was like, I like when
fuck yeah, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, it's like you have a goal, and clearly you're on the path to do it. So yeah, like, go up there and say what you want to do. And I felt like he still did it in a humble way. But you'll find a lot of insecure people or non-confident people. They really don't like that, even if like they don't want to have the nuance. People believe what they want to believe, and so if they listen to that, they'd rather believe that Timothy Chalamet is a narcissist than someone that's betting on himself and is like really putting himself out there and trying.
Have you looked at ascending in the incel community? Do you know what that word means?
Ascending, like just getting better in life.
Getting laid typically, or getting attention from women on the sort of lower end. So if you're inside of some of the incel communities, I think most of them, ascending would be getting attention from women, maybe even as little as the barista in Starbucks. Her eyes sort of lingered on me a little bit longer than I think. Maybe she was flirting with me. And ascending is, you're seen as persona non grata if you do that inside of the incel community. And the reason that I think that's the case is that if somebody that I saw as my equal, who was afflicted with the same issue that I believe that I have, is able to bring themselves out of this issue, that now makes it, the potential for hope for me becomes, it's brought into reality. And that means that now maybe the fact that I feel like I'm afflicted with this thing is not a life sentence, but it's actually inside of my control, and I have agency over this. And the fact that I haven't gotten out of this problem. So they're literally seen as fake cells, as somebody who ascends is, well, you weren't truly an incel, you weren't like us. So there's an immediate othering of somebody who doesn't comport with the same issue that everybody else has. It couldn't be that everybody has the potential to do this. It has to be that that person wasn't a part of our group in the first place. And yeah, I when you think about how much people are held back by the fear of others judging them for having self-belief, I think that far more people fail due to a lack of support than a lack of competence. And if you just had a couple more people in your life that believed in you, you'd probably be able to get 10 times further.
Yeah.
There's a line from George Mack, my housemate, that says, there is a guy out there with half your talent and 5 times your self-belief making 10 times the money.
Yep.
And it's just, yeah, wow.
Well, I think the way that I look at it in the support side of things is, honestly, fuck support. Like, it's nice to have it, but I'm going to go to where I want to go regardless. And all those nights, those consecutive nights where I would stay up till 4 a.m. just grinding, whether or not my friend who lives on, my family moved out of my hometown, and I haven't been in my hometown in years, and I don't talk to those people that much anymore. So if they support me or not, I could give a fuck, and then I have no friends where I moved. And so it's like, okay, I'm just going to do this on my own, because like you were saying, like we were talking about before, it's like optimal game theory. Okay, you got dealt shit cards. I'm not saying I got dealt shit cards, but you're not in the optimal position now. So what, are you going to fuss about it, or are you going to like just do something? And it's interesting you talk about the idea that, oh, if you see someone else doing it, then it's like, oh, I have agency, I could do it. People really don't want to support you if you do well, because especially if they grew up near you, because you become a mirror to them, right? If I come from the same place as other people and then more or less got the same opportunities, we go to the same school, but now they go on Instagram, they see that Jet is getting some views, he's getting recognition, get put in the public eye, whatever, that's going to tell them, well, I'm really no different than Jet. We came from the same place. He's there, I'm not. So now they get, pissed about it, and they're projecting, and they're like, oh my gosh, I hate this guy. Because you were talking about the incels, and I had a YouTube channel. I started at the beginning of this year, and it gained traction pretty fast. I got like 200,000 subscribers in the first 2.5, 3 months. And I became very popular amongst that sort of underground people that felt like the system was against them community. And a lot of that community is incels. And of course, I never went on my YouTube videos and said, oh, I'm an incel. I never claimed that or anything like that. But what happened was, and in my videos, I would talk about, yeah, like naturally, if I have a lot of followers on Instagram, yeah, girls are going to slide in my DMs. I wasn't being cocky about it, but there's really no good way to address it, because they'll be mad if you don't address it, because then they're like, he's lying.
Yeah.
And if you do address it, then you're seen as cocky. So you got to,
if you addressed it and had said that there were no girls in your DMs, that would have been fine.
Well,
It would have been fake. It would have been a lie, but it would have been fine. That would have been like, oh, actually, yeah, okay.
But
I'm not throwing it.
are you familiar with the term LARPing?
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, Jet's like the biggest LARPer ever. Because what ended up happening was, and this is what I hate. I never lied about it. I was always truthful about my life. I become friends with this big influencer, very wealthy. I end up going to his birthday party. It's on the East Coast. I go there, and there were some girls there. I don't know if they were Instagram models or whatever. They wanted to take a picture of me. It was not that deep at all. It goes on social media, and then I posted a video where I was like, oh, it was like kind of like a motivational video. If you work hard at a specific thing, you have to be smart about what you work hard on. Because if you work hard in corporate, yeah, maybe life is not, you're not going to be rich because you're selling your time for money. You can never get rich off doing that. There needs to be the potential for, an increase and an appreciation over time. But I went and I posted that video, and my entire community turned their back against me. They were throwing a shit show. They were mad about it, and they were like, "Oh, this Jet guy, he's faking it. He's LARPing. He's too good looking to have been socially excluded growing up." It's like, there's not a picture of, like, I'll give you my life savings right now if you can find a picture of me going to any school dance, prom. I didn't go to graduation. I didn't go to anything. I truly was isolated, but these people could not comprehend the fact that now that I started to level up in life, it's like, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And they just came after me, and they were like, this guy, he's 6'5". Like, I never even lied about my height online. When you go online and just like, you're 6'5", that's like, oh, that's cocky. Or they would say online. So I just like wouldn't mention it. I was on a very popular Looksmaxer stream, and they were like asking me how tall I was. I was like, I'm 6'5", and everyone thought I was bullshitting. Everyone on the internet was like, this dude's not 6'5", and then a picture came out with me working out with some fitness influencers, and they're like, dude, this guy's 6'5". Like, there's no way that he has life hard. It's like, what do you, like, so you can't win with these people.
Yeah.
But anyways, they really were mad about me basically leveling up, and they're like, yeah, he always had friends. It's like, so this guy was an influencer. Why would you think that I would be friends with him before I ever started doing content? Or like, I don't know, but like you were saying about that whole like incel community, it's kind of the same thing happened for me, but I've never been a part of the incel community. I've always been a part of the, like male loneliness epidemic. That was more my target audience.
Well, it's the narcissism of small differences, right? If you go to the same school as somebody else and you have ostensibly similar skills, the difference in your outcomes is on them. It's on their, like, imagine a split test universe in which one of them you end up being a real success and in another one you end up being a real failure. The guy that was the failure would feel really bad because he had all of the raw materials to become the guy that was the success. Like, true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been. And
yeah,
a lot of the time people feel like, well, I grew up with that guy and he was no more special than I was. This is one of the things I think is kind of interesting about content creation generally, and the fact that lots of people consume lots of podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and the issue that you have there is the talent delta is not as obvious as doing something that is more refined, like playing a musical instrument or being great at basketball. Like, most people, I mean, if you sat anybody down with 2 microphones, they have technically recorded a podcast, no matter how big of a car crash that could be. If you give somebody a saxophone, they cannot reliably make a note come out of it, especially if they're untrained. So because the expertise, skill delta doesn't feel as inaccessible, the small differences become even smaller. Like, very few people are looking at Steph Curry and going, fucking Steph Curry, dude. Like, the only reason that he got that is because his dad was in the NBA. It's like, no, the dude's a generational talent who literally changed the points game of NBA, of basketball, the way that game's played. Regardless of whether his dad was great or not, which he was, but Steph went and did his own thing. No one's looking at that and saying the only reason that he's got that, because no one can do what he does. The more that people think that they can do what you do, the less respect they have for you doing it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. 100%. Because I've seen so many videos. Yeah, this one guy made a video and it got like 300,000 views, and he, said he was going to sexually assault me in a more graphic, using more graphic terms.
Okay, cool.
And
Nice guy.
he literally, like, video is a statistical outlier on his channel. All of my haters are going to go watch that video. And then he makes another one, another statistical outlier, and he's not really making any points. He's just like, I hate this guy. And then eventually he makes a video and he goes, you know, the real reason why I hate this Jet guy is because I make the same content as him. And he's like, I do the same. And it's like, it's not the same. This guy is completely delusional. It's like he's recording on it. It's like an Android from like 2010 or something. I'm like, first off, your camera quality sucks. But he's like, yeah, this guy, he's just as basic as everyone else. He just has a better face. So that's why everyone, and it's like, oh, okay, first off, holy cope. But second off, it's like, if people assume that they can do what you're doing, but you're getting big off it, they're hating you more. Like you said, do you know who the streamer Rakai is?
Oh, is that the dude that did the Beasts thing and was kind of the villain? He was like he's like a bit of a villain dude.
Mr. Beast?
No, Rakai. He did 100 streamers compete for cash. I swear, he's like kind of a bit of a nuisance. Or
He is. Okay.
I swear
I don't know if
Beast
I'm
video.
not like super familiar with him, but
Right.
he's very young, very young. I don't even think he's graduated high school yet. And he's just kind of hollow-headed, trying to find like he's not the sharpest tool in the shed.
Right.
But he acts crazy. He doesn't really speak English. So he speaks English, that's his language, but you can't understand him, and that's the joke about him online. But anyways, this kid he has a...
It is the one that I meant. Streamer Rakai participated in the highly publicized Mr. Beast $1 million streamer challenge video. His intensely competitive, aggressive play style and interactions with other creators made him one of the most talked about and controversial figures in the event. Yes, I do know who you mean.
Yeah, so this guy is one of the most hated people on the internet, and just the reason, to sum it up, and people they don't understand this, they don't consciously know that this is why, but this guy doesn't even talk good English. He doesn't do anything necessarily exceptional, but so they look at that and they're like, well,
I could do that.
I could do that, but not only that, I could do it better. I'm smarter than him. But yeah, I feel no negative way towards that guy. I'm not trying to knock him in any way. But yeah, of course. So people are like, oh, I can easily be that type of guy. Like with the streamer stuff, I have a friend of mine who is trying to make it as a streamer. And the thing about it is all these underground streamers, these people that are trying to come up, it's just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And I was telling him, I was like, respectfully, how in the world are you ever going to make it if you are the product and there's no product differentiation? How in the world are you going to make it? You know, he went to Streamer University. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but Kai Cenat, one of the biggest, not even just streamers, content creators in the world, does this thing once a year now where he invites out all these streamers to this like school for like a week or something. And it's like class, and it's just an entertainment thing. It's nothing too serious, but people literally quit their jobs. They drive across the country to go to these auditions. But the thing is, Kai Cenat only lets in already known people.
Yep.
And all these other people, it's like you watch the videos and the footage, and you know the cops had to shut it down. It's just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. These people have the same personalities. And I was telling my friend, I was like, I'm obviously going to support you, and I've always been like, hey, you need to keep doing this thing. But it's like, if you're doing the same thing that everyone else is doing, how in the world do you think at some point there's going to be like a switch that's flipped? Because back in the day, you could get 3 viral videos and all of a sudden you're a known person on Vine. Nowadays, you record 50 and and then you don't drop something for a week and you fell off. So like you just have to keep on relentlessly getting these viral clips. But what makes clips for the big people go viral is the fact that it's the big people in the clip, not that they're necessarily entertaining in and of itself. So you have to put your time in the game, and yeah, people are just really mad because they're like, I don't understand why I can't be where I want to be. Well, you have to find a way to product differentiate, and you know, maybe the reason that you're not succeeding as much as me or as much as someone else is simply because you're not that person. Like you didn't do, like you think you are, but you're not that person. And that's the biggest issue. Everyone is just projecting, oh, I deserve to be X, Y, and Z. When I was at the bottom, when I had, you know, less than 10,000 followers, I would find other creators in a somewhat similar niche as me that had around a little bit more followers than me. And I would literally look at their videos and be like, that is shit. I would be like, I am so much better. Like I would convince them, I'm like, my videos are so much better. And slowly but surely, I start getting past them. And then I'm like, all right, who's the next one? Who's the next one? And like we were talking about before, that goalpost never ends. There's always someone else.
Correct.
But I was like, I would get mad at it, and I thought I was better, but I didn't really do nothing about it. I did something about it, and that's sort of the difference.
Well, the difference is between simulating what somebody else does and learning inspiration that can help you improve, right? The best that you can hope for if you're trying to be somebody else is to be the second best in the world,
Yeah.
right? At being them.
Yeah.
And you are the 0th in the world at being yourself.
Naval Ravikant, he said you escape competition through authenticity.
Yeah.
And what's that? There's Peter Thiel has a quote where what is it? I made a video about this. I'm trying to think about it. He said competition is for losers.
Mhm.
And so in other words, you're a loser if you're not being authentic. If you correlate that with what Naval Ravikant said, because you beat competition by being authentic, so you beat being a loser by being authentic.
Yep.
And so I was like, wow, it's such a basic, simple thing, but people don't really internalize it. They don't understand it.
Authenticity is an interesting one because what everybody likes the idea of is seeing a person who is just being themselves. There's no filter, they're not playing a game, they're not trying to perform, they're not trying to finesse me into believing that they're something that they're not or pretend that they're not something that they are. But there's kind of a window of tolerance that people are prepared to live inside of. And as soon as you get outside of it, what you realize is that the internet is desperate for authenticity, but it's allergic to sincerity.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Like if you are genuinely sincere, genuinely earnest about something, like you go through a hard time and you talk about it with some beautiful montage over the top, and it's sort of all fluffy and bubbly at the end. It's the why's question, right? Like how deep do you go with the why? Whereas if you see a dude do an Instagram video and he breaks down crying in it, you go, oh no, that's too much sincerity. I have an aversion to that. And this kind of just goes to show how limited the internet's preparedness for empathy is, and also how narrow most people's tolerance for an emotional window is. It's like you're allergic to somebody genuinely showing their emotions, especially when they're out of control. If it doesn't seem like they are in control of the way that they're operating anymore, that seems like a lack of congruence, a lack of competence. Internet is desperate for authenticity and allergic to sincerity.
You know, it's interesting. Robert Greene says that authenticity is bullshit and it doesn't exist. And I was thinking about that. And I think when people say authenticity or that person is authentic, it's like, let's say there's a spectrum and they're closer to their genuine self than the average person. And then you're like, oh, that person's authentic. But they're not truly, if you take it in the absolute sense of the word, they're not truly authentic, because I think that would probably be social suicide, right? Like if you really just say what you believe. Listen, when I was in high school, this was the whole thing. I wasn't very well liked when I was in high school, and kind of the reason was because I was resentful. I started reading a lot of books, and I got smart, and it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. I thought I was a lot smarter than everyone else, when in reality I really didn't know much. But a big thing was I really thought that honesty was completely virtuous, and just being as raw and as honest with someone was like the best thing you could do, which now is just not true. Like now I know that to be not true. To give you an example, this is gonna make me, this sounds crazy, and I do not, like anyone that's listening to this, do not do this, but we were at one of those football games on a Friday night, and I went there, and this girl, probably, I think she was under the influence, and she was like, she just straight up asked me, do you think I'm pretty? And I'm like, here we go with this like fishing bullshit. Like I was like, no, but I didn't say it in a mean way. I was just like, no, in a very neutral way. And she's like, what do you mean? Do you think I'm ugly? And I was like, yes, which is insanely immature, but that was how I felt. And I thought that that was okay. And also I wouldn't go out of my way to say that to someone ever, but she asked me, so I thought it was the right way. That didn't go over well. So that didn't go over well. I got a bunch of pushback, and I remember I would go home and I'd be like, oh my God, these people, yeah, pushback for whatever that means in high school. And yeah, I mean, no wonder these people didn't like me. I think they were totally valid for not liking me. But I would go home and I would be like, I was in the right there. I was in the right. But it's like, okay, what do you like? This is such kindergarten, like this is such psychologically infantile type of activity. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, have you ever read Sam Harris's essay Lying? It's an hour-long book. He wrote
I
it.
don't think
He wrote
so.
it with his wife. It's fucking great. It's like a 60-page treatise on why you should never.
Wait, is this the one where he says if your wife is pregnant and she asks you if she looks good? Oh yes, I read that a long time ago.
It's pretty good. People should revisit it. You can get it for free online, and there's an Audible version too. It's like basically a long podcast. It's just an essay, and he wrote it with his wife. Interestingly enough, there is definitely a like philosophical underpinning where you can say any lie, including a white lie, at any time is a bad idea. Like the Anne Frank in the attic thing. It's like just go up and get her, no worries. But functionally, it can put you in situations like this, right? And I think that you can have a kind of decorum. You can be classy in the way that you sort of show up. Like you can say things that don't fully. It's like, look, there's a type of girl for everyone, and I'm sure that I'm not for you. But you know, I don't think that we make a great couple. And you're like, whatever the fuck. Okay, I managed to get out of that scot-free. But there is like, if you take the autism pill and decide like I am going to completely fucking tell the truth at all times, you end up in situations like this where a girl that's drunk on a Friday night at a football game just wants to hear from some boy that she's like cute or whatever, and what she gets is like a existential kick in the nuts. So dude, you're fucking awesome. I think everyone should go and subscribe to your channel. Where should people go to check out everything you got going on?
Jet Franzen with JETT 2 T's on social media with Instagram, TikTok, and then if you just search up my name on YouTube, it should show up. I think it's got like some other bullshit in the name, but just search up Jet Franzen. And you'll probably get 50 videos of people shitting on me. So that's how
I searched you, and it seems to be your content, and your stuff rules. I think you're great, man, and keep going. I'm gonna be watching. I'm gonna be supporting from the sideline. Shout out your dad as well.
Shout out my dad. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, bro. This is honest. This is an honor. Seriously.
You crushed it, man. You crushed
Thank
it. All right. Goodbye, my beauties. See you next time.
Bro, yes. Fucking yes, dude. Sick. Well done.
Dude, I enjoyed that.
I love this.
Okay.
So
we're very different on this table, but there's a lot of things that you've done that my whole entire bloodline hasn't accomplished. So let's just put it all on the table. Why is it that you would choose that rather than peace?
So I see it as a question of utility versus satisfaction. And so I remember wrestling this with this when I was coming of age, and I thought, I looked at a bunch of scientific literature, like who are the happiest people? So I was very happiness obsessed for like many years of my life. My mother struggled with mental illness, and in the family, there's a bunch of bad stuff. And so I was like, well, I want to try and get ahead of this, And so the people who had the highest subjective well-being ratings, there's one group that's like 4 standard deviations above most of the population, and that's a certain sect of monks that meditate for like 10 plus hours a day. And so they just have like completely, right shifted the graph in terms of like where they all sit. They're just operating at a different level of contentedness with the world. And so I was very strongly considering like, okay, well, if peace is the goal, then that is the clear path. I can just go be a monk and just do that. And that is the most proven way of doing it. And when I thought about that path versus, let's take a Steve Jobs or a Musk or a Bezos, whatever flavor you have, of the impact that those people had on the world, and sometimes to their own, I would say, great sacrifice. I would prefer, I think maybe on some other level, I would rather get to the end of my life knowing that I had helped many people, and maybe that is a backwards way of getting to my own peace. So it would depend more in terms of how do we define peace, but
That's why I want to find the root of it.
Yeah.
Because when I listen to you speak and I see your metrics on where your theology is, dude, you build men. You wake up in the morning and your compass is pointed to like how to make my neighbor happier, faster. And so in my brain, that is a level of peace. Like, I know you sat down with people that I even look up to, Tony Robbins, and all these other type of people will say, helping your neighbor, there's a source of peace to it. That's why I asked the power aspect of it, because I guess my question is, are you sacrificing yourself? Have you put yourself in a position that you're like, okay, well, me and my family, we've wrestled with peace. So if I'm going to keep wrestling with it, let me be the one that wrestles with it and not my neighbors and the ones that I love.
I think I would say that I have a willingness to more than the actuality of it. I think that I live a very blessed life, if I use that term.
Yeah.
I do what I am good at, and I enjoy doing that thing, possibly because I'm good at it. And I would say that if you were to ask my team who interact with me on a daily basis, they'd probably say like, Alex is a pretty happy guy.
Yeah.
I enjoy my life. That said, I think there's like, let's call it 90% of the day when there's whatever mode we get in when we're like doing things. And then there's maybe the 10% of your life or 5%, whatever percentage is for you, that's maybe you're a little bit more introspective and you're like, why bother? What's the point of all of this? And I don't think that anyone really has the answer. And of course, there's theological answers to that. And I don't. My mother's a born-again Christian evangelical, so I was raised in this. And during that 5 years of like the happiness studies that I did, I had a trunk at the bottom of my bed, big trunk, and it was filled to the brim of just theological books and specifically apologetics, so defense of faith for Christianity. And so I got very deep into that because I thought maybe I can logic my way there. Maybe I can like make a bulletproof argument case for Christ, Mere Christianity, some of those types of books that are kind of like the tip of the iceberg. But to go back to the original question of like, do I feel like I'm sacrificing myself? No, because I think that if you sacrifice yourself, you're giving up something. And I don't think that I've given up nearly as much as many people have given up for me.
And you don't have to answer this if you don't feel comfortable, but congratulations on you're about to be a father. So
Yeah.
does that realm of sacrifice there, like does that enter in your mind? Like usually when a man is about to have a baby, he's always thinking of like, okay, I should, like for example, you say this to men, work out now, get on your grind now, because later on it's going to be harder because you won't be able to sacrifice that time. You say you don't sacrifice, but all of your time and energy, if it's for money and power, and I feel like you're smart enough to realize that you're not taking that with you.
Oh, and to be clear, the money and power can never be the goal.
Yeah.
I translate that into, would you rather have infinite potential energy that you can transmit into whatever you want, or peace? And I can do a hell of a lot more with power and money. And a lot of people will have a negative connotation to even the words power and money, but power and money can be used to build hospitals, save countries, save people. Peace can save me.
Yeah.
And maybe I think it's a bit of a like have your cake and eat it too. I think that if I had infinite power and money, I could help a godly amount of people, and probably also achieve a certain amount of peace and satisfaction for a job well done.
I just want to know what the root of the seed is. Like, I see what your tree is, and it's very fruitful. I mean, I can even tell by your own teammates. Like, they're all happy, they're at peace, they're excited to be here. You can tell when somebody's in a good place when they're working. You're saying to help your neighbor. To help your neighbor for what reason? What stems in your heart the benefit of helping your neighbor? Because remember, me and Tony were cheesy, but we do it to receive peace.
Sure.
We do it like, okay, like in our in our way of life, God says, love God with all of your heart and love your neighbor as yourself. I'm going to dig deeper into that because loving yourself is tough, like especially when it's your own career and you have to monitor that. And I would love to dive deep into that. I would actually like to learn from you. But what is it? Like, what made you so hungry for you to go do this? Because from everybody else, from their perspective of them watching you, they're seeing your success. But when I'm looking at you, bro, I see a lot of lonely nights, a lot of tears, a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot going into what you're doing.
Can I ask why you see that? Because I don't have any lonely nights and I don't cry very much. And so, do you think that's a projection of what you think I am or how I am versus how I
think that's a projection of, you're right, it is a projection because I don't know you. So that's me assuming, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
And I guess from where I've sat in my life with people that I look up to, not people that I'm saying in a rude way, I've seen them sacrifice, cry, and build. And I feel like I'm building somewhat of what you're building, not at the same level, but yeah, I've cried and I've been frustrated and I've sacrificed. But the end goal in my brain is when I meet God, I wanted my art to touch lives. So I that gives me the motivation to push through my pain. And if you don't mind me asking, if I kind of want to take a travel back, how is it that you don't cry and you don't feel emotion towards this?
It's not that I don't feel emotion. I think it's, I mean, I cried the day I got married. I would just say like I cry less often than maybe other people cry. I don't see it necessarily as a deficit. What is the correct amount of crying? You know what I mean? And does the amount you cry have any relation to how happy, sad, in touch with anything you are? I don't know.
I feel like I cry a lot. Not in a way where like I'm a sad person, but if I see you're going through, so for example, I saw a video of you crying, looking at your wife, I would get emotional because I'm like, my goodness, what a blessing that he found somebody he loves so much. And then I would also get emotional.
I would say almost exclusively tear up for happy things.
Wow, that's really sweet.
So I get choked up for happy things, for gratitude is usually where I get very, when I see pictures of like how I came up, I can get like choked up because I know how much I suffered at that point compared to now and how hard I was pushing to get to here.
Can I touch on that?
Sure.
Was there a place in your life where you said, hey, we're done crying?
No. I think I teared up or choked up on the podcast I did with Stephen Bartlett. It was when I was talking about Layla. But no, I don't think. No, I don't. I also have no positive or negative judgment on crying.
What's up, guys? This video is sponsored by Exter. All right, so I've been packing for my trips, and I also want to bring my own merchandise, and I'm running out of space until I got these bags. So I got the Extra travel pack vacuum bags, and I'm not gonna lie. When I got these, I was like, this is pointless. This is not a real thing. Like, this is not gonna actually. Boy, was I wrong. And
things like that, but also make things repeatable. But just like, I think a lot of times people are very surprised by their lives. They do something, and what they thought was going to happen didn't happen, and it was because they were not very good at predicting outcomes. And a big part of that is because the way the world works versus the way they think it works are different. And so I would say that I have put a lot of effort into trying to understand how the world works, and maybe more specifically, how do humans work. And so you asked a question earlier about like why. I can't remember why what. Oh, you said me and Tony do this thing because we seek happiness or somebody to that degree.
I just want, because we think of an afterlife of like what we're accounted for here. You're so the levels that you're at, I've only seen when people are chasing something that is bigger than them. So to watch you speak in such like a humble way, like a child, like walking into a room and just analyzing it, well, one, you're good at it. It's like very good at it. And the second is like, that's why I asked the peace thing, because what is it like? Okay, there's a verse in the gospel. And I think about it when I think of you. What is it worth to gain the whole world but then lose your soul?
Totally.
Now, I'm not saying you're sitting here selling your soul.
Or that I've lost it.
Yes. But I'm saying, what have you done to nurture it?
So this is a really good example. So there's two words that we've thrown back and forth, and most people would nod their heads and say like, oh, I know what they're talking about. But if I were to say soul and you were to say soul, or I were to say peace and you were to say peace, I don't know if we'd say the same thing. And so we're using this word as a construct, and this is why I like language so much, is that like, and this is where miscommunications happen. And like there was one with, you know, Tony at the very beginning of the podcast, I say pain, or I say suffering, he says pain, he defines it differently than I do, but we actually do mean the same thing, but it makes an apparent conflict, right? And so
Perspective.
yeah, and so to me it's like, what does peace mean to you? Maybe my definition of utility might be peace for you.
Fair.
I don't know.
What is your, if you think of peace,
Yeah.
what do you feel? What do you see?
That I have used up every ounce of potential that I have to serve the most amount of people.
And that's your version of peace.
And utility. I will be at peace when I do that. It will also be my point of maximum utility. I will have been made useful. I see myself as a tool.
Yeah. I'm interested in you because.
That'll get taken out of context.
Oh, buddy. Yeah. Yes, you are. No, I'm just kidding. No, but this is so fascinating to me because I think, like, okay, to watch somebody be as hungry for serving others and being like the utility for others, they're usually basing it off of something greater than them. So if you have nothing greater than you, then what's...
there's many things.
The most useful
Is probably the hard part. Others, straight in role
inputs.
I mean, I think big picture.
So you're going to be a dad?
I'm going to be a father. Hopefully, everything works out. Yeah.
Tell me about it.
To be honest, I haven't really given it a tremendous amount of thought. I kind of deal with things as they enter my queue. Layla is the one who gets. Her life is changing significantly more than mine is in the short term. I think once the baby comes, I'll adjust when it comes. Yeah, I mean, new information, new priorities. I'm really not that worried about it. I mean, I think big picture, there's been, 100 billion humans? 85% of humans have a child by the time they're 45. Or after 40, whatever. But by the time they've finished their ability to have children, it's like 85%. So it's not something that's like really that rare of a thing. And so I think I'll deal with it the best I can. And, you know, my dad gave me a pretty good example of what being present looks like. And so I'll take as much as I can from that.
You're kind of known as the guy who optimizes everything.
I would say maximizes.
Maximizes.
Optimizers get the most for the least. Maximizers get as much as they possibly can.
With a kid, what are the inputs you can actually control as a dad? And what's the output or outputs that you've already accepted is out of your hands?
The question is a nature-nurture question, which is, okay, you know, how much of it is going to be genetic? And I don't know, I think most of the science is 50-50, half genetic, half is, you know, your upbringing, et cetera. So then we get into the question to how does a child learn and how does behavior get shaped? Which, you know, the primary ways are going to be modeling, like me doing something and getting good outcomes in front of the child. And the second would be teaching the child directly, which I would say through demonstration, role-playing, practicing, training, repetitions. And that can be from like, say please, say thank you, all the way to learning more complex skills, you know, over time. I mean, I like teaching. And so I look forward to teaching the child the things that I know and what it will teach me about things that I don't know.
I guess in a different way, like how do you decide, like these are the things I'm going to teach, these are the things that are unimportant? Like what's a framework for thinking about that? Because you always talk about like, well, this is what I would do, or like this is what I would do in my own life. So like when you have a child, it kind of creates this different dynamic when you have responsibilities in some way, but you also want to allow a kid to have freedom, you know?
I think a lot of people derive purpose from utility. And so I would want the child to have as many skills as possible so that it could navigate the most diverse number of conditions it's exposed to. So there's a lot of, I mean, life presents a lot of different variables. And so it's like, if I can prepare it for those variables, so it makes choices that are aligned with getting what it would want, then I see that as a W. I mean, I think the hard part, like, there's two things that I would say that I've struggled more with defining, which is, one is what is the measure of parenting? How do you know if a parent is good? And so I'll give an example of both extremes. So it's like there's many stories of entrepreneurs and others who had terrible upbringings and then succeeded. And so do we say that those parents were good if it created the outcome that was good? If we judge it by its outputs, kind of interesting. Like, would Michael Jackson have become Michael Jackson if he didn't have that upbringing? I don't know. I don't know if he knows. I don't know if we can ever know. And so I think that's an interesting one. And the other is, what do we define as a successful child? I would say that modern society defines success mostly as happiness. They like to do what makes you happy. I just want my kid to be happy, things like that. I'm not sure if I'm 100% sold on that. Because I think that when you have somebody who tries to optimize or maximize happiness, it's a very selfish worldview. And I think that it's one of those things that if you seek it, you never find it. It only happens as a consequence of other things you do. At least that's been my experience. And so, I mean, I've talked, plenty of times about this, but like I have gotten more fulfillment out of being useful than I have out of trying to be happy. And having it happen as a consequence of like helping other people has helped me more than me trying to help myself. And so I think, a lot of things we gain by giving up. It's like in a lot of religious texts, it's like you gain your life by giving it up, giving it away. And I think those are like those two questions, how do we define a successful parent and how do we define a successful child, I think are the hardest things to define, because once you define those, then the rest of the actions are fairly straightforward. And I think that getting alignment on that is probably the hard part. And again, it's like, can you have a parent that has an unsuccessful child that did everything perfectly as a parent? I don't know. We don't have any perfect parents. And so I would say what I have settled on is I will do the best I can with the resources that I have available to me to equip the child with as many skills, life skills, as I possibly can so that they succeed in the most diverse set of environments.
What's the one skill you hope your kid has before they turn 18?
Courage. I mean, I think it's kind of the gateway trait to all other traits. And also, if you have no courage, the other traits become neutered because you can't do anything with them because you're too afraid. And so I think teaching the child to act and do the right thing or act in accordance with its values despite short-term consequences that could be aversive or bad or painful would be what I think would be the hallmark thing of, I mean, it's very hard to look at somebody who is courageous and not, like, I see that as a pinnacle trait. I would be proud of a child if they always did what they believed was right in each circumstances, despite what other people thought, despite their short-term consequences. And I think that core trait is something that generalizes to basically every domain. Like, how do you learn something? You have to have courage. You have to be okay with failing. You have to be okay with being wrong. You have to be okay with being made fun of. All of those things come from courage. And so I think that's probably why I would put it at the core.
Is Layla excited?
Yeah, of course. Layla's thrilled. Layla's, I'm very happy and excited, and I would say Layla's even more happy and excited. And I think part of that is because she has an actual human inside of her, and I do not. And so I think she thinks about it more often than I do, because it reminds her that it exists. Whereas just like you have your phone buzzing in your pocket, you don't have something kicking your stomach. And so like I'm very aware of my phone existing. I'm less aware of the baby existing. And so I think that's just partially just the logistics of it. No, she's stoked though.
Now, the world your child will be born into is very different than the one you grew up in. The value of college degrees has changed. Jobs are being eaten by AI, and young people are lonelier than ever. Mechanically speaking, what's changed in the system that makes it challenging in a different way for young people to make money today?
Well, today, versus when my child is an adult, I would say are different situations. I would say for today, it's never been easier to make money because we have these tools that are giving tremendous leverage to people who have work ethic and skill. And so barriers to entry are getting completely flattened, which is amazing. It's democratized access, but what it's really done is also just made it more competitive. And so one of my favorite lines in The Wire is Cuddy, was a hitman, comes out of prison after 15 or 20 years. He's an older guy, doesn't know what to do, goes back into the game. He then is told to like go do a hit with some other guy, and it goes the wrong way, and they're sitting in the back of the car, and he says, "Man," he's like, "the game's changed." And Slim Charles looks at him and says, "No, man," he's like, "the game hasn't changed. Game's the same, just more fierce." And so I see that in a lot of ways. It's the way that the economy, the way that business, the market hasn't changed. The fundamentals are still going to be the same. It's supply and demand. Scarcity is still going to drive behavior. It's just that the variables around the core fundamentals will change. And so that's why I think like adaptability is a core thing to learn, which I just see that as like being able to change behavior quickly when new conditions arise. And so today, a lot of money can be made digitally without nearly the amount of labor as before, and you can run it a lot more efficiently, which I think just there are more people entering entrepreneurship than ever before, which I see as largely a good thing because the most efficient organizations are single person run. Like if you just think like there's so much waste in larger organizations because of coordination of people. And so, like a perfect world of efficiency would be that every single person has a business that requires no one else, that everyone have their own freedom, everyone, delivers, valuable services to other people. That's awesome. I think there's a world of more and more of that will happen in a world where, humans have no inherent value from a quote utility perspective that a robot, cannot do. I think that we'll do what we've always done. Like we'll figure out something else.
You said 18 years from now, it'll be radically different.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to guess,
what
might that look like?
Dude, I have no idea. I think my guess is it would be the same as me making up a reality. And I don't think there's too many variables. I mean, let alone like, it's like trying to predict like what stocks can go up tomorrow. There's so many things that can happen between now and then. And there's also some things that I don't think are necessarily going to change. Like for example, like I think basis is a question which I like thinking a lot about, which is rather than saying like what is going to change, I think it's more valuable for someone today to ask what is going to stay the same. And so I think that humans will still fall in love. I think that humans still value stakes. So I'll give you a simple example. Like if Mr. Beast makes a video and he's, puts $5 million in the middle of an island and invites 10 influencers to go compete for it, those influencers can't be AI influencers. They can't be fake. And if that $5 million isn't actually $5 million, and you just have cartoons competing for fake money, I don't think anyone cares. And there's also some things that people want to see humans do. So like we have cranes, we still want to watch who can lift the most weight. We still have, robo chess that can beat any chess player on earth, and chess has never been more popular. And so we will still be attracted to human things. Drama, story, narrative stakes, things like that I think that humans want to see how humans are reacting to those things. So I don't think that's going to change. I think humans are going to need to eat. I think they're going to need to sleep. They're going to have shelter. All of these things I think will remain relatively unchanged. Will also be AI entertainment. Absolutely. Will there be our first Star Wars epic? I mean, we're seeing it. I think you've probably been attuned to this. Like there've been 3 big box office hits that are like 100 million plus movies that have come out from just like YouTubers. And that necessarily isn't all AI, but it will be. Like these tiny teams being able to generate huge blockbuster, quite literally, outcomes. And so it's like, again, it's just going to have, I think Naval said this, but it was technology democratizes consumption and consolidates production. So if you're the best in the world, you get to do it for everyone. And so AI will YouTubeify a lot of things. So what I mean by that is when mobile phones had videos, video making used to be a luxury thing. And then everyone was able to make a video. And then YouTube gave everyone a platform to post those videos on. And so it's like, oh, everyone can vibe code. It's like, well, yeah, but everyone can make videos, but not everyone's Mr. Beast. And so just like always, like it will still have like when there's more supply, we will index on quality. And so what are the human things that are the non-replaceable things, which I think are stakes, I think it's narrative. I think it's reality. And reality creates the stakes for any of this type of stuff. That's why reality TV is still a thing, because we know it's real, to the degree that it's real people, right? And there's some sort of money or whatever that's on the line, people still watch. But yeah, I think there's a world where there's a robot that cuts your lawn, for sure.
Right. That's something I was thinking about, was this idea of like reality TV for some reason has the highest moat in the next 10 years as far as content, because it just seems as though AI is able to amalgamize education type content so well and like documentary type content so well. Like, do you have any thoughts on that specifically, that the info business content creation is going to be limited?
I think it assumes that people didn't already have infinite access to information. People already have that. So I think that when people buy, if like pure information, yeah, tough. I think everything that comes around that, again, that's stakes. Like people know to, like you just recently lost weight, right?
Mm.
So people know they need to, whether you know anything about fitness, you need to stop eating shit and move more. Okay, great. Your version of eating shit and moving more will be different. But fundamentally, you have an idea that you do that. People still don't do it. Why? Because they don't have enough stakes, they don't have enough motivation around it. And so like there'll still be plenty of IRL and I would say human-based interventions that will still work to drive those stakes and drive that motivation for people.
You said the richest you ever felt in your life was when you and Layla hit your first $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
You've since talked about a goal that you have where you want to help 100,000 young men make $100,000.
I think that's small. I think we'll do a lot more than that, but yeah. We might have already done that. I'm being real. The difficulty is, how do you measure it, right? If I were to give a meal to every person, I give a meal, you check a name off, and that's it, right? You can ship them out, and it's done. If I have to teach someone to do something, and then have to have them make money, and then have a way to know that they've reached past this point, like, when I announced that, I've gotten so many DMs of people like, dude, I'm one of those people. I made $1 million because of you. I made $10 million because of you.
I'm one of those people.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Awesome. Thanks, man. I'm glad to hear that. That's cool, man. Like, I mean, school is 27 million users. So 100,000 is like a rounding error. I think we'll do a lot more than that. I have a lot of other things in the works too that'll come by the end of this year that'll make that more evident. But yeah, I mean, I meant what I said. I think that in order to change the world, you have to start with changing a generation. I don't think old generations change. So you have to start younger. And I think that the best system we have right now is capitalism. It is flawed. It is just the best flawed system we have. And so in order to get people to buy into something, you need them to be reinforced by it. So they have to have a good outcome as a result of it. And so I think all you have to do is look at every other country that has not had the system and look at their outcomes over a longer period of time to be like, okay, well, that system doesn't work. And to think that it somehow is going to, like, this time it'll be different is ridiculous. It's like the abusive husband and the wife, and then, he hits her and he says, I'm sorry, it'll be different next time. It's like, no, man, that's the pattern. And so we don't need to like wait for a dictator to take over to know that that's how it's going to end. And so I'm a big believer in free markets, and I'm willing to deal with the downside consequences of free markets because I see them as superior problems to the downsides of communism, socialism, and dictatorship, which are not necessarily all the same, but often.
I like that a lot. I mean, if money exists, it would make sense to me, at least, that capitalism is the best system.
What is capitalism? It is a system that allocates capital most efficiently. So it would make sense that it is the best at generating it.
I know this is something you've probably been asked before, but things are so different now. If you had to go from $0 to $100,000 in the next 3 months, how would you do it? Maybe if you could break it down for me in 5 steps.
Sure. So 100,000 total, or 100,000 a month, or 10,000 a month?
100,000 total in 3 months. No employees, just you.
But it's not me though, right? It's my skills, but not me.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Right, and I
You
don't
can't
have,
post content.
and I have no network, and I have no connections, and I have no any of that. I don't have my phone with me.
You can use Claude.
So when you were starting out,
You want every customer to be worth it. And so I think one of the mistakes that happens when people are earlier is they don't sell expensive enough stuff. And so like, if it's very hard for you to get a customer, then you better make sure that customer is worth it, which means instead of thinking about scalability, we think about how basically potential money made from every person is what you want to maximize. And so that means that potential value created has to be maximized, which means that we might do unscalable things in the short term in order to generate cash flow. And so I'll give you an analogy and then I'll give you the steps, but, or not an analogy, a story. But when I started my first gym, I did personal training with one client, and that client came 90 minutes a day, 5 days a week, which is a super client. And I ended up making, I think it was like $4,000 or $5,000 a month in total from that one client. And that client and that model of me just doing one-on-one like that obviously doesn't scale.
Gonna attack it already. Shit! But I need to speak for this. Tomorrow I cannot stream. Fucking annoying. Maybe speak for Gaulo Windows, man. Alright, let's attack Mika or Fresimmer Art. This is the last chance. Yo, Fres, time to attack you. Ha ha ha. Hey, mate. Thought it would be. How long did we? I think over 20 hours or something. I better put this text somewhere. Shit. What was the name again? Fresh. Oh here, fresh and art, fresh. How long did it take? I'm not sure. Did I say that last time? Okay. I have to be careful here. Do not show you titties. Where is the art folder? I think it was this. Thumbnail. Right. Okay. Alright, let's upload it in a second. Yeah. What's this? Oh, this is actually full body. Holy shit. Right. I guess. Alright. Yo, Fresh.
Yeah, people are sleeping, so yo, Fresh, time to attack you. Ha ha ha. My mate Dion saw your art and thought it would be a good one for me to attack, and I for sure agreed. Muhahaha. So here she is. Put over 20 hours or something into this drawing. Hope you like it. Hope you had a good art fight challenge this last month in July. Just saw the timer going down, so had to upload it as soon as possible. This box is chilly. Okay. So let's upload the 4th attack or something to the art fight. You have to talk like this because someone is sleeping. So yeah. Okay. Well, let's just go and attack. Yes. Let's go. 69.5 points. Submit attack. Let's go. And there she is. We did it. We did it. Okay. Mika. Based on Fresimer art. Characters. Here is Mika. The original Mika here. By, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Fresimer art. And then she got now, or I'm not sure, got attacked. Oh wait. Whoa, this person did a lot of attacks. Holy shit. Okay, defenses. Let's go. There she is. On 1 August. Oh yeah, they have other time zones. Okay. Well, we uploaded it. Hopefully, Fresimer likes it. And else not. Let's go. Okay. Done. Mission complete. Good job, NINJAKEES. Yes. Okay. So that's it, I guess, for me, for the art fight. I got 1 art. Rest. I attacked 4 people. 4 people. I attacked this guy. Well, I drew this guy, but because he attacked me. And yeah, Dion, of course, I had to attack. And then Pozo. So yeah, we did 4 attacks. So yeah, not too bad, I guess. The statistics: 221.75 points, 3 attacks, 1 friendly fire. So yeah. Alrighty then. Yep. Well, we also made this happen. The character design. And yeah, the other design from the manga cover. guess I have to talk better about it later. But yeah, this is the art fight for me so far. So yeah, I guess that's about it for the art fight. Yes. Still have to upload on the social media. I might actually upload them all together again as a compilation. Yes. Maybe even make a video of it. Like the 4 art attacks I did for July 2026. Well, technically it's August already. Luckily, this is a different time zone. There's like, there's no 17 hours left. Technically, I could do maybe another one. But I probably cannot do tomorrow. So, also people, yeah, plannings, stuff. So I guess that's about it for now. Yes. But at least we participated. And, yeah, man. How about you? Did you participate in the art fight or not? They also still have merch here, it seems. I was thinking about maybe getting a badge. But I don't know. It's pretty cool though. But I tried to get it before, but it don't ship to our country. But yeah, maybe now they can. I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty then. I'll upload it later to social media. Where's the art? So yeah, ninjas, we went from this to this. For those who have not followed, or just popping in, or see this now, or skip the video, or whatever, we went from this original art to this. It took quite a bit more time than I should have spent on it, but I want to make her look good. Hopefully we achieved it. Let me know your thoughts. If you think we achieved something good here. And if you don't think, just tell as well. Yes. Mika. That is Mika. Pretty cool name. Actually. Mika. Short. Easy. Yeah. So yeah, that was the last one of the July Art Fight 2026. Finished technically on the 2nd August 2026 for me. But yeah, their time zone is a bit different. Luckily. Else I was probably too late to upload it even. But yeah, hopefully Fresmer Art likes it. And yeah, I guess that's about it for the art fight challenge. Let me know in the comments if you had a good art fight challenge. Did you participate? Or maybe next year. Not sure if I will participate next year. Might be busy. I'm always busy. But yeah, it was a fun experience so far. But I might talk a bit more later about it. When I can actually speak. Without people sleeping. And I have to whisper like this. Yes. Alrighty then. Alright, ninjas, that's about it for this live stream. If you watch this later, let me know what you think about it. Did you enjoy it or not? And yeah, man, how did you do it? Did you do it? Want to do it? Or you thought it was fun to look at? Okay, well, that's about it for now. It's now 2:48 a.m. in the morning. So yeah, gonna wrap it up. And yeah, that's about it for now. Alright, ninjas, sweet dreams. And don't forget, the man under the bed. Merc, that is. Yes. And also, yeah, that's about it for now. Yeah, that's it. Alright, ninjas, thanks for joining once again. NinjaBox is Chile, and see you ninjas the next time. NinjaKees out. Yes, until the next time. Thanks for joining once again, ninjas, NinjaBox is Chile, and see you ninjas the next time. NinjaKees out.